according to the thing, even though it's showing me it's not. But welcome to Dark Tower Palaver. This is our podcast slash YouTube channel here. We're going to be doing a roundtable this week. We did a book club last time, and here for the first one of February. Chugging along through the year already.
Yeah.
How the hell are we already through January? That's what I want to know. But
and we're getting there through February because it's a shorter month than everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what I was telling someone. I'm like, man, it's January's almost over, and since February's so short, blink a couple times, it'll be March. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, we're here to do the live recording here. Welcome anyone in the chat here. According to my thing, it keeps going down to like 0 to 1. So, and I know you're in, so I know that's not true. So,
and Josh is here too.
Yeah, exactly. Stupid YouTube. Although now with the AIs and stuff, I probably shouldn't say that. We'll get.
You'll be the first one.
Yeah.
When it all goes down.
When Skynet arises.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and hit the intro and jump right into the episode here.
The Dark Tower by Stephen King. The man in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed. Go then. There are other worlds than these. Death, but not for you, gunslinger. It's time we had our own Palaver, I think, and it's going to take a while.
And yet, dauntless, the slug horn to my lips I set, and blew. Child Roland, to the Dark Tower came.
We are content, one from many. Let the Palaver begin.
Hello and welcome to Dark Tower Palaver. This is our podcast covering Stephen King's magnum opus, the Dark Tower series, as well as the wider King universe. I keep realizing, like much later after an episode's recorded, that I keep saying the intro like we've been saying it forever, and we have expanded into the larger King universe, which is all a level of the Tower, so it shouldn't matter. But
that's what I was going to say. It's all the same thing, right?
It is, but I want to make it clear up front that, yeah, we are covering all things King because it's all one level of the Tower or another.
Yep.
And I am Tad.
I'm Peter.
And we're here for roundtable number 133. And I always love when we get up into weird-ass numbers like this because it just feels like comic book issues. Like, when someone's like, oh, yeah, and, issue 133 when, the Hulk ripped Wolverine in half or whatever. And nobody come after me because I know it wouldn't have been an issue as early as that. But I don't know. Just weird numbers like that make me think of, like, comic book issues because it's always some esoteric weird number that, like, some nerd has memorized and they know, like, this big event happened, this random.
The first appearance of Joker was in this one.
Yeah, and it's never like, oh, issue 100. No, it's always just like, 27 or 133 or
219.
Yeah, it's just these weird ass numbers. So I do appreciate that quite a bit, even though who knows what this episode will bring.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the intro stuff real quick. First, I want to warn you about spoilers. This is a roundtable, so we will spoil freely of the Dark Tower series and maybe some other things as well if we dabble into other things. So if you haven't finished the 7 primary books though of the Dark Tower series, you may want to stick to our book club episodes, where in those episodes we stay where we're at or before, except for the very, very, very tail end of the episode. We have a very isolated off section where we do spoilers, but most of those episodes, I'd say probably 97% of those episodes are spoiler free. Yeah. So stick to those if you haven't finished the series. If we go forward at this point and you have not finished it and you get spoiled, that's on you. Because it has happened to some people.
We had someone in the chat once was like, oh, that's what happens? We're like, oh, God, no. Why are you here?
And then next up, if you want to find us, you can find us on Apple Podcasting. You can stream us on Spotify or Stitcher. You can find us on any podcasting service, as well as very recently, we were also added to Amazon Music as well as Audible. So if you want to find us, you can find us any number of places. Pretty much everywhere podcasts are found, you should be able to find us. If you want to subscribe, rate, and review us on any of those services, we'd appreciate that. Then if you want to join the live stream, such as Josh and Carol so far, hi, Josh and Carol. If you want to join live like they are, you can do that at youtube.com/darktowerpalaver. And if you're on the YouTube side, if you can like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. For instance, today we are actually going live an hour earlier than we would generally be going live, and that should be a new regular thing now. We'll talk about that in just a second. But if you didn't catch us on social media with those announcements, the notifications would have let you know that, you would have been like, wait, what? And then if you want to find the show notes, you can do that at darktowerpalaver.com. All the articles and stuff that we cover in this episode I'll have linked over there. So you can find that, as well as all things Dark Tower Palaver. If you want to find the links to any social media, our store, our Patreon, all that stuff's found over there at darktowerpalaver.com. That's kind of the hub, the central tower of the Dark Tower Palaver universe is darktowerpalaver.com. Then if you want to support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/darktowerpalaver. We just had a hangout yesterday for the month of February, as well as if you want to send some emojis to Peter in the Discord every day of the week. That's the great thing. You can send Peter emojis all the time and not just here in the live chat, because Peter does love emojis. Stop it. Then if you want to contact us, you can do that in a number of ways, and Peter can let you know about those.
The best way to reach us is email. It's darktowerpalaver@gmail.com. And then our social media is Twitter. It's @DarkTowerPod. That's @DarkTowerPod. Our Facebook is facebook.com/darktowerpalaver. Instagram is darktowerpalaver, all one word with no spaces in between. And then you can check out our merchandise. We got the two options. You got the classic one, Tad's wearing, Dark Tower Palaver, and then you got the truth that I'm wearing, which is #TadIsTerrible.
The slanderous one.
No, it's the truth, sir. We've proven this already. Check that out. It's tpublic.com/user/darktowerpalaver. Or like Tad said, just go through our website, darktowerpalaver.com. On the right side, it's a box, right?
Yeah.
Logo for shopping. Takes you right there.
You know what? Next one we should do is a shirt that says like "Oi is a monster and must be stopped." That should be the next Dark Tower shirt. Dark Tower Palaver shirt.
I think we should do "I break for bumblers." I've seen that one before. I like that one.
Or you could take out the 4 and "I break bumblers." Then it's the Andrew Quick shirt. I break bumblers. Just wringing them like a rag there. We just covered that in the roundtable.
We did. The book club.
Or book club, I'm sorry, yeah. And then Josh in the chat says it was the notifications that alerted me, as well as Alan joined us. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Usually Alan's popping in late. Good to see you here early. I'm not that I'm shaming you at all.
Yeah.
It's just I tend to notice, there's a couple people that sometimes will pop in right toward the end of the episodes, here and there throughout. So good to have you here, though. And then also Peter forgot to mention, we're not going to transition fully away yet, but we do have a new email address as well.
I did not forget. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I did not know if you had it ready yet. We mentioned it to the Patreons yesterday,
yeah.
And you said you would let me know when we had it ready. I didn't want to give an email address out when we don't have it ready.
No,
sir.
it is ready.
Thank you.
It is.
Slandered me.
Getting all offended there. Go ahead.
It's so it's show@darktowerpalaver.com.
Yes. Found out, of course, I own all the web addresses and stuff, and never really thought about looking into potentially getting an actual thing rather than at Gmail. But for right now, you can send emails to both. We will be checking both for a period of time, but probably somewhere in the summer, I would guess, we'll probably transition fully over to the show at darktowerpalaver.com, because it just sounds so much more official and awesome, doesn't it?
Right.
It does to me.
There is actually one more email that Did we get the one from the idea that we had yesterday for the Hangouts one?
I don't know.
Hangouts@darktowerpalaver.com.
Oh, no.
Okay. So in the future, we're going to have one for Hangouts at Dark Tower Palaver, where if you're a Patreon, which, like we already talked about, we had our Hangout yesterday, I'm going to be taking over what we're doing in the Hangouts. So I'm going to have access to that email where if you have anything you want to do, watch a movie, if you want us to deep dive into something or anything like that, if you're a Patreon, send it to hangouts@darktowerpalaver.com, and then I'll put it on my list and get it going for us.
Yeah, indeed. And then calendar-wise, we're here at 1:33. Next episode, of course, is a book club. Until we get some kind of green light news from Mr. Flanagan, we will be doing a every other episode type thing. So we have a book club and then roundtable on the month exactly from today to the day on 3/11. We'll be roundtable. We'll be 1:34.
Says I can't stay, but I'll catch the VOD later.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, he doesn't say he's leaving now. But I don't know. But yeah, so that's what we have schedule-wise coming up. And then the only other thing that we want to throw out, if you've joined us on social media, you probably already know. But we've been teasing a new show for quite a while. Well, the new show starts today, about 10-15 minutes right after Dark Tower Palaver ends. So we will have, if you want to go find us, it's and I actually should have probably built a slide for it, but I didn't think about it.
Hashtag Tad is terrible. that shame.
But the new show is called Geekery Abides. We'll be covering all things not Stephen King that we're nerdy about.
Yeah.
So we'll be going live. Look us up. I know we're on Twitter, Facebook. We have a YouTube set up, but you can go find all of the stuff there. We don't have a website yet. I will be getting on that. Just spent the last week and a half scrambling to get everything ready for the show here at the later this afternoon. So that is starting, and that is why we are here at 2 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or insert your time if you're in a different time zone. We are 1 hour earlier than we generally would be. That's why, because once we're going to have a small break between, and then that episode for the new show, and that will be the new cadence that we will do. Future bound, we may flip-flop them a little bit to make it a little bit more approachable for people in different time zones. So we may flip it to where around Dark Tower Palaver is the second show of the day. But we will, for now, it's going to be the first show for probably the first month or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so join us there if you're interested in non-Stephen King nerdery or geekery, as it is.
Yeah, geekery.
All right, so jumping over to also I see in the a hashtag here in the chat.
We're not going to talk about it.
Hashtag Tad is tangentially terrific, and then some emojis there. So thank you, Fourth Legacy. And I always forget, Fourth Legacy, if we know another name to call you, let us remind me. If not, we can just call you that. That's totally fine. But I know there's some people that have non-name handles, and some of them have told us the names. And
ZT is Zach.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that because Z and Zach. But
yeah,
If not, maybe it is just Fourth Legacy. But yes, thank you for that, and thank you for the emojis. Much appreciated there. So let's go ahead and dive in to the roundtable. So the first one here actually came in late December. Somehow I missed it. It didn't actually come through my news thing. I actually found this by looking it up because the It escape room was announced originally, and they said it would be released it would open in fall of 2023 or 2022. It never opened. So when I was doing the prep on this show, I'm like, you know what? We're quite a ways from fall now. I wonder if it's open now or if there's a date at least.
Yeah.
Looked it up, found this article, so let's go ahead and take a cover. It is called Mystery Swirls, It-themed escape room set for December, opening in Las Vegas. So it does sound like it was set for a December opening. This is by Greg Haas on December 27th, 2022 from 8 News Now, which is actually just the name of the local news station there in Las Vegas. So we talked about that it was originally announced in fall 2022. Of course, fall came and went, heard nothing. So I found this article from the local news station in Vegas. They did and they did actually have some pictures of the outside of the building, and the headline said it was open in December. So I kind of got excited. I'm like, oh, look at that. Whatever. As well as you could see on the screen now, this large painting that says Escape It. Apparently this edge of the building is actually facing out towards the interstate or the Spaghetti Bowl. So a lot of eyes certainly on that. Yes, could be found can be seen from the Vegas Spaghetti Bowl with a bunch of red balloons and an outline of Pennywise. So there's actually some other pictures. I will transition the slide, or actually I could just do that one now since it's mentioning it. So there is the other aspect that is seen from the road. Doesn't that look fun? And of course, I do have to point out Bill Skarsgård.
Yep.
Pennywise. Not that I had any doubt.
We talked about that a few episodes a while ago.
I'm still tracking it though, where it's
we're keeping track of. Did Skarsgård take over Pennywise look?
I really
every time someone says Pennywise, is it Skarsgård? Is it Curry?
I think so.
Yeah.
And now, I also forgot until an hour before we started. We said that we were going to watch the It Simpsons episode, and I completely forgot and forgot to tell you. Which now it's been immortalized in Simpsons as a Skarsgård.
Yeah,
Pennywise. So we will do that one for next episode, and I will write a note so that we actually remember it for March to do that, because I was thinking about Simpsons for some random ass reason. Like I said, it was like an hour before we were about to start the show, and I was thinking about the Simpsons. I'm like, wait a minute, God damn it, I forgot about that doing that. So let's see, what am I missing in the chat here?
My wife popped in and said shutter, so perfect time for her to pop in and say hi.
Oh, and then Fourth Legacy is Ben.
Yes.
That's good to know.
I-
Speaking of it,
I wrote it down, so I won't forget.
speaking of Ben,
Yeah.
in it, one of the
Hey, Stack
characters there.
Calhoun!
Okay, so then it says the last update about the 30,000 square foot project that we did not catch somehow was that it was set to open in December. So we did miss that. Somehow it changed from fall to December, but not much has been heard at the time of this article as the sands of December were nearly gone. This article came out on the 27th of December, so
Yeah.
it says December, but it's like, dude, that's like a couple days left. So didn't seem likely. Did you tell your wife to come in, by the way?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
She just popped in. Right. You were over there typing, so I didn't know if you were,
Nope.
bamboozling her.
I was writing down those new email addresses.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
I don't forget them.
And then next up, aside from the large text on the side of the building, the front has also been designed, which we'll change over to that slide now. The front of the building to look like a movie theater called the Capitol Theater. I do not remember. Was that the name of the theater in Derry?
The Aladdin.
Okay, because I wasn't sure, but
No, it's the Aladdin.
And the marquee says "Thank you for the memories, Derry," along with the far side of the building. And actually, I can go to get you another picture here of the front of that, where it says "Thank you for the memories, Derry." And then on the far side, and actually, you could have seen it in this last picture. If you look at the far back there, there's some blue and white. Well, if we go zoom in on that. It says Township of Derry Public Works Facility. So they are designing the hell out of this building. From the outside, it sounds pretty good so far. Then the article embarrassingly calls it Derry, Pennsylvania. So shame. They then say that they reached out to the folks behind it for an update and would update the article if and when they heard back. And then, as a matter of fact, they did get an update the next day on the 28th. It says, they heard back from the people behind Escape It, and they said it will not be opening in December. And quote, the attraction will not be opening in December, as the team wants to make sure that it is a great horror experience, and it is the best that it can be. They said, and they will report on the opening date when it is available. So,
so now it's gone to TBD.
Yes. I felt like it was that way as we were getting closer to fall.
Yeah.
And the fall wasn't changing. I'm like, this isn't probably happening. But then we missed it's changing to December. But now they're saying, and if they're using the right excuse, right? It's the same one that all the video game creators always
We want to
make.
get it right.
We want to make sure it's right and stuff. And I totally get it. I want it to be right too. But I do wonder sometimes if that's just an excuse that people use sometimes, right?
We slacked off.
Yeah, it's like whatever. But good update because we are tracking that because we are going to have to go down to Randy Land and visit the.
And we'll go to Vegas.
We'll have to stay at the MGM Grand too, of course.
I want to go to Boulder,
where Randy was at.
No,
I mean we'll go through Boulder when we go to the Overlook.
Boulder's north of Denver.
No, I thought we looked it up that we'd be able to go through Boulder if we took a slight
detour.
Yeah. Like it only adds
it's like a suburb of Denver. Yeah,
it adds like less than an hour. It was like minutes, like 40 minutes or something to add to our drive.
It was worth it.
Yeah, so we'll definitely go through Boulder when we go over to visit. And I keep calling it the Overlook, but the Stanley, of course, is what I'm talking about.
It's the Overlook.
It is the Overlook, indeed. Room 217. I have to make a call on that still, figure out what reservations I can get for that room. So we will keep an eye on that, and I will keep searching for it because apparently somehow, even though it mentions Stephen King, it is not being caught by my filters.
It's because they said the wrong state. It's only filtering by stuff in Maine.
Yeah, it's like Pennsylvania. That's not Stephen King.
That's not Stephen King. He's never centered a novel in Pennsylvania.
That's a good question. Because he has bounced around a bit. I mean, we have the Mr. Mercedes trilogy is in Ohio?
It's never specifically said, but I basically think it's Ohio.
I thought somewhere they said in the show, certainly they use Ohio license plates and stuff.
They say the city on the lake, but I mean, there's 12 of them around the Great Lakes that are big enough to be, that city. Yeah. But it could very well be Detroit. But I think there's something that is said in Finders Keepers or the third one. I always forget the name of the third one.
End of Watch.
That
the most obvious one.
That basically confirms that it is Ohio.
Yeah.
And then in The Outsider, they talk about traveling to Indiana, which is next to Ohio.
Yeah.
Which is why they call Holly. So
yeah. That's it. Any of those pictures geek you out?
I love the Township of Derry Public Works facility.
I knew you'd like that one.
That's what
I mean, that's the
Bill's
people,
dad works for.
and that's who's going to be involved
pipes,
in the
yeah.
sewers and stuff.
Yeah.
So definitely good. So, like I said, so far they're winning me over because
Yeah.
I mean, not that I had like a ton of doubt. Like the idea of building an escape room themed around like one of the largest horror things of
Icons,
all time.
yeah.
That seems like a no-brainer. But there's always party that wonders like, are they going to get it right? And so far, they're winning me over.
The article got it wrong.
Yeah, no, the article that
Not the people who are making the escape room.
You could definitely see that Greg Haas is probably not a constant reader, or if he is, maybe he's a occasional reader and he's never picked up one of those 1,000-page books like
Yeah.
it.
He just sees the adaptations. That's all.
But even then, it says Maine in there.
Does it?
Yeah, Derry, Maine. It gets talked about all the time.
I guess, yeah, when they're talking about having to go home back to Maine. What's in Maine?
Yeah, exactly. So now, let's go over to a fun little article here.
I don't like when you say fun. Fun for you is not usually fun for me.
You sound like Hayden now. That's what Hayden always says. But no, this is a fun one set in Maine, as a matter of fact. And this headline is Stephen King says this remote island that finally sold in Maine is novel-worthy. And there is a little picture there of said island. And this is by contributor from the Seacoast Current on January 18th, 2023. Doesn't give a name of who actually wrote this article. But yeah, I don't know. That always bothers me when they do that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Just give credit to the person.
Maybe the person doesn't want credit.
I don't know.
Well, it's like one of those things that he's covered this in a couple of his books where there's small town like newspapers and people write for them that are just citizens. It's like,
Yeah.
I have a strong feeling about we need to paint the school and no one's wanting to, so I'm going to write an article about it, but I'm not going to put my name on it. I'll just turn it into the paper and they'll publish it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Little New England newspaper kind of thing.
So this article points out that many of us at times talk about moving to an island and getting the hell away from everyone. And then it goes on to tell us that this island, which is called Duck Ledges Island, is where you can actually make that happen. So it has a line that repeats a few times during the winter that this island is not fit for, quote, man or beast. So, yeah, and honestly, when you look at that island, does it look like one that'd be very hospitable when you're thinking that it's up in Maine? Yeah, probably not. Doesn't, but it uses that line multiple times. The island is located just 10-minute boat ride from Jonesport, Jonesport's public marina, and is a 1.5 acre island that was for sale. Now, cover your ears here. It was for sale for $339,000
For that?
for this island.
That's it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Consider what our real estate is. That's why I said cover your ears. I feel like you'd be hurt a little bit by this. But that included a catch.
Okay.
One that the person, in order to even make an offer, they had to prove their worth before they would be considered to be a buyer.
What do they got to do? Like a human sacrifice or something? Like bring them 10 cows or...
So it dives into the history of the island. It was once owned by Billy Milliken, which is a local who was the sixth great-grandson of the first English settler in Jonesport.
Okay, that sounds exactly like something out of a Stephen King novel.
It does, doesn't it?
Right? Like out of like Salem's Lot or
Yeah. Doesn't this kind of feel Midnight Mass-ish too?
Yeah.
The island off the coast. I mean, I know that's not King,
it's
but
not big enough, but yeah.
it's
basically,
King adjacent.
It is King adjacent.
So he's also involved in local politics, if that adds it any more, so making it a Stephen King vibe, as well as he's in real estate.
All right.
So real estate, sixth great grandson of the first settler, English settler in that land, and then he's in local politics. It says Billy had plenty of offers, many over asking price, but to even be considered, Billy required that any potential new owner needs to spend one night alone in the small cottage on the island.
Oof.
And is that not just like what every horror movie ever?
Like the what is it? The old school horror movie where you'll get $100,000 if you stay in this house where 7 people were murdered for a night.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that? Not a Haunting of Hill House. It's the House on Haunted Hill.
Maybe.
I think that's what it is.
Maybe, yeah. The old Vincent Price. Yeah, and then it goes on to talk about there was a woman from New Jersey was finally the one who had what it took. Charlotte Gale spent the night and bought the island. Billy took her to the island by boat, which doesn't that sound
Yeah, that's the only means of escape is a boat. And
Yeah.
if there's a bad storm,
And the guy that wants you to stay there overnight to buy it is the one that's boating you out.
Yeah.
This all just sounds like a Stephen King story, for God's sake.
yeah,
And it says that he suspected that she was the right one when she brought nothing but a waterproof backpack, whereas previous people that failed came with a lot of luggage. So seems like
she really did want to get away.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting away, Carol said, "OMG, I'm literally moving to Hawaii in June for the same reason, to get the hell away from everyone, but missed the mark because I can't afford the private island."
Oh man, yeah.
Don't
If I
wish
would,
we all could afford a private island. You know?
yeah, if I would have known about this, I would have maybe been moved my ass to Maine. I mean, go to the heart of Kingland.
Wrong
there.
side of Canada, sir. Don't you want to be over in Alaska? Isn't that what you've always said?
Alaska would be a wonderful place.
Yeah.
It says it then tells us how the cottage is not even inhabitable from October to May because of quote perilous storms.
Yeah. When you look at that right there,
Oh, yeah.
there's probably waves who wreck that island.
Oh yeah, and it says, and then it paints the pictures of being on the small island with only 20 feet from the water as the waves crash around you in a storm.
Yeah.
So it's only the closest spot. It's only 20 feet from the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me go ahead and jump on over here and show you what your 339,000 would be buying if you're Charlotte here.
Yeah, that is Midnight Mass house right there. Like,
And that's the thing, because that's like, when you hear cottage, what do you think? Because I think like, oh, it's a kind of it does sound small to me. Not that small.
small.
This is a one room thing. Like I have
Yeah.
another picture I'll show inside. This is one room and the bed is like in a loft. Like this is I've always pictured a cottage like you may have a room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, like, but it's very, very small and tight. You know, like I feel like that's what I've always pictured with cottage. And then maybe it's away from like the city. It's a little bit more removed. If this is what a cottage is.
Okay,
like,
when you say cottage, what I picture is Hot Fuzz, the small town that he moves to.
yeah.
They live in cottages. Like
Yeah.
like when you get outside the town and it's the farmer and farmers' mums. That's
Walder Frey.
Walter Frey with that.
I just watched that scene like
The mine where he smacks it with his shotgun.
Like 3 days ago, it popped up on my YouTube, and I'm like, I've got to watch.
That's what I picture when I picture cottage. Made with stone a lot of time.
Yeah,
Not wood.
yeah.
This is a
So I'll go to the next
bungalow.
slide here and show you. So above you in this picture is where the
bed.
and there's like 2 single beds next to each other with a small thing between them. So very, very small. There are some other pictures. I will link to the article in the show notes. You can go there. It actually has a lot of pictures from the actual Zillow post, and you can see like all angles inside and stuff. I honestly didn't want to show all of it.
Yeah.
I will leave us on the last picture I've got here, which is the overall big picture. Oh, and the other thing it does show on the Zillow as well that I didn't share here, it has an outhouse.
not even plumbing.
No plumbing.
Yeah.
And no, I think it also mentioned something at one point about no septic tank. So it is literally just
An outhouse.
an outhouse. Yeah.
Imagine going to the outhouse.
Like-
That's probably the reason why you can't stay there in the winter is because if you have to go to the outhouse,
Yeah.
you're going to get knocked off by a wave into the ocean.
Just like
And then it's just a brisk, 10-minute boat ride swim
Yeah.
back. So
yeah.
what, like hour swim?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the legendary Bev Vincent tweeted another version of this story. And then Cy King responded to his tweet and said, "There's a novel here just waiting to be written." Is what that was King's response to it. So that's kind of where the headline comes from. Gail said that she was not scared and plans on planting a garden around the island and calls it her happy place and that she loves to be alone. And I can definitely feel her on that. I am the antisocial type. The article also has, like I said, also has ample Zillow photos of the island and the cottage. So if you want to check that out, check out the show notes and go follow that link and see what could have been, 339,000. Again, Utah, you'd be buying like a shanty for that price.
2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,200 square foot house for $339. It's bad in Utah. Guys.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's pretty bad. So yes, Carol, introvert tonight. Yeah, I'm introvert definitely. So I see no problem with moving to a thing like, or even like Alaska, move up there, get a job where I could work remotely and just live in a freaking thing like Jack Torrance and be alone.
Work and no play, make Tad a dull boy. I come up for a visit one time and I open it up and it's just like, no Dr. Pepper, no internet, make Tad go something.
Oh no, there would be those things though. You can have internet. And
Yeah,
stuff.
but if you get trapped, and the internet goes out,
oh yeah, then there may be murders happening.
I just slowly close the door and leave.
You just look in the window and see me with her croquet mallet.
Oof. It's a rook mallet.
Yeah, I'd probably have a croquet mallet
Yeah,
though.
you
You got to
probably
have that longer handle.
Get more, force behind your swing.
I actually had a croquet set as a wee child.
Did you?
My grandparents did, and me and my brother would play with it. Not that I knew the rules very much. I mean, we kind of just made it up as we went along. But yeah,
The made up rules Tad is if I hit my brother and he yells, it's 1 point. If I hit him and he goes unconscious, it's 5 points.
oh, you're making me out to be a monster, sir.
You are a monster.
Okay, so that is that for that article. A lot of fun there, though.
Yeah.
Fun little, and it's in Maine. If this is in any other coastal state, it wouldn't be a thing to me. But the fact that it's Maine, like, come on.
It's
Like,
and King's like, yeah, this is ready for a story, and I'm like, I'll read it.
yeah, I would read it too, and
When's it coming out, Psy King?
yeah, exactly. So jumping over next, the next one here, the title is Hot Horror. Stephen King adaptation, The Boogeyman, moves from streaming to theatrical. And this is an exclusive from The Hollywood Reporter. This is Boris Kitt from The Hollywood Reporter on January 30th, 2023.
January 20th.
Isn't that what I said? 20th?
You said 30th.
Oh, yeah, January 20th. So the subheadline of this article says that the strong test screenings had 20th century executives and producers excited to move the film from Hulu, which is what it was being made for, over to theaters. So that's a happy thing.
Yeah.
We know Boogeyman's been coming out. We've been waiting for it a bit here.
Yeah.
We actually know it's coming, unlike frickin' Salem's Lot, which is still up in the air.
Who knows?
So
Watch the trailer for it.
for Boogeyman.
The teaser, I
yeah,
guess.
like with it was on the football game.
With
Maybe,
the-
but didn't it say something about go online for the longer?
Yeah.
I haven't gone to look at that.
I haven't because I stopped watching trailers, but that teaser was on and I was just like,
Yeah, it looked great, didn't it?
oh my god, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Who made it again? It's someone that we know, right?
No, Rob Savage. He's done some other horror movies, nothing that I don't think you're over familiar with. We've talked about him quite a bit, though, on here as they've been developing this.
Yeah,
So-
Host. That's the
Yeah, Host. That's allegedly one of the scariest movies of all time, according to science.
which we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. So the movie is directed by Rob Savage, and after test screenings were positive, they showed the film to King, who gave them the thumbs up, and then they moved it over to theatrical release, which is interesting. So even the studios are going to King on things. Like, what if King had said no? Do you think they just leave it on Hulu? I don't know. Just
Maybe.
kind of strange. So the film will be opening on June 2nd, 2023. So not only is it getting a theatrical release, it is coming out right in the middle of summer. Like horror movies have passed, like The Black Phone recently.
Just did that last year in June. Yeah.
The first two Conjuring movies both came out in high summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare for horror movies to come out in high summer.
Yeah,
so
it's summer
it makes me
blockbuster. You save the horror films for September, October.
even August sometimes.
Yeah.
But usually, though, if a horror movie is coming out in summer, they usually have high hopes for it. So this makes me think that not only were the test screenings good and they have a lot of hope for it, but maybe there's like really thinking that it could be something big to put it in June.
Yeah.
So this actually echoes Smile, which was originally made for Paramount Plus, but the strong test screenings had those folks reconsider that, and the film that cost $17 million ended up pulling $216 million at the worldwide box office.
Dang.
So that one went from Paramount Plus. It was originally its plan. They moved it to theatrical, and it went gangbusters essentially. I mean,
Okay, so here's what we do.
so it only came $1 million short of making $200 million
Dang.
straight up. Well, the Smile did. So
Yeah. So here's what we do. We just go get with studio executives, streaming executives, and just be like, hey, listen, just make everything King, and then when it tests well, then put it on the big screen. Start with The Dark Tower. Oh, what's that? You want someone who has the rights to it? Well, Mike Flanagan does. We could just I guess we'll just use him,
he wants a show though. I mean, movies eventually, but show to start.
You mean to tell me you wouldn't take a Mike Flanagan movie for The Dark Tower?
I mean, I just think that TV is really the right place for it.
Interesting.
Don't you? I mean, I love the movie. I love theaters. I love movies. Like, that's my
Yeah.
thing. But there's just something. I think that's a long form story. So, I don't know. I'd hate to see it parsed up into pieces and then, yeah, I don't know. Just again, he has an idea for movies, and we've speculated on what that might be. But I don't know. I would rather see it play out the way he has it planned because I trust Mike.
Yeah.
So, The article also points out that during the pandemic, horror movies was the only thing outside of superheroes that actually drew decent audiences, which is a true thing. And as someone that loves both superhero stuff and horror movies, I have to take some pride in that, because everyone loves to look down on both of those and shit on them all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, theaters may not exist if it wasn't for those two things.
True.
Like they are the ones that held theaters through the whole pandemic thing. There's also a very short but effective teaser that played a few weeks ago during the NFL's Conference Championship weekend. That's one that we were both talking about. We saw it both during the game. It is very effective. I'd highly recommend it. I have not watched the one that's online, so I don't know the extended one, but I'm interested in what it might look like, and it definitely looks like a fun story. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Boogeyman, right, sir?
Under your bed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And if I remember from previous episodes, we talked about it's a family. There's a father, a daughter, and a son, I think. The mother has passed away, and they're like all trying to deal with the trauma of that. And then it sounds like in the midst of all that, a boogeyman may arrive in their house or whatever. So, yeah, that should be fun. But let's go ahead and jump on over to the literary side of things. We have a good little article here. Holly Gibney is back on the case in Stephen King's new novel. Read an excerpt from Holly.
Oh.
So this is from Clark Collis from the Entertainment Weekly on January 23rd, 2023. So the main reason that I'm covering this is to reveal the cover art, which is on the screen right now, as well as to remind everyone of our King book for 2023, which is Holly. It's the article points out that Holly Gibney has been a reoccurring character since Mr. Mercedes in 2014, which then it dawned on me that she has been in books for nearly 10 years now.
Really?
Next year will be her 10-year anniversary, 2024.
Whoa.
I know, doesn't that blow your mind? Mr. Mercedes doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
No.
But yeah, it's been 9 years now. We're somewhere in the midst of this year, we'll hit the 9-year mark of Mr. Mercedes. So that blows my mind. It points out how she went from a shy recluse to a tough private investigator, and the book will see her taking on a gruesome mystery. Their word, not mine. Gruesome mystery behind multiple disappearances in a Midwest town. So once again, the Midwest, see? We know what we needed to figure out is getting like a King map. Where's everything that takes place in King? That would be
I kind of want to do that.
That'd be a heavy lift, ultimately, but there is quite a bit. I know our state shows up in the stand, for sure, if not other things.
We do in the stand. The stand's a good one. Indiana, Maine, Texas,
yeah, Vegas,
Utah, Nevada, California, Idaho,
yeah,
Oregon or Washington for the judge.
I don't remember, somewhere up north, but
yeah,
Idaho, of course, though. That's the best spot, though.
Stop it.
That freeway there.
Does it say in that article when Holly comes out?
It does. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Also, I did miss in the chat there, Heil Mark, welcome. And yes, I believe we're doing well.
Oh, I did say Heil. That was before. Okay.
Okay, so then, I will share the setup portion that comes next. But it has always been our tradition that I will refrain from reading the actual excerpt from the novel. Some people don't like it. Yeah, as reading New King is or should be a special thing, or maybe it's something that you just want to wait till the book comes out. And to be honest, that's me. I think it's been probably 5 or 6 novels now since I've actually read one of these excerpts, and I don't know, I just prefer not to personally. But yeah, so we're not going to read that, but I will read the setup portion stuff here. The setup portion says that Penny Dahl calls Finders Keepers to help locate her missing daughter, but Holly is reluctant to take on the case as her partner Pete has COVID. And I would pause there, because that's Pete, the cop, former cop, right?
Bill's former partner.
Yeah, because the only thing there is you also have Pete Saubers, which I wonder if he ties in like Jerome ends up, because I don't know, the kid from Finders Keepers.
Oh,
I just wonder if at some point he would get tied. I think this is Pete, the cop, though.
Yeah.
But when I was doing the research on this, I'm like, wait a minute, there's 2 Petes here. I mean, there's the cop and then there's the kid from there, and at this point, that kid's probably not a kid anymore. So it just made me think like it is probably the cop. I think that this series did establish him as her partner at the end of that trilogy. So it is certainly
the outsider,
him.
Yeah.
Her mother has also just died, and she is supposed to be on leave. So that is the setup, but that's part of the setup here. But something in Penny's voice makes it impossible for Holly to turn down the case. Blocks from where blocks from where Bonnie doll vanished lives Rodney and Emily Harris, who are the picture of respectability. They are married in their 80s, devout to each other, and both are semi-retired academics. But they are hiding an unholy secret in their basement of their well-kept, book-lined home. Doesn't that sound fun? An unholy secret hidden in the basement of the house. A secret that maybe is related to Bonnie's disappearance. It says it will be nearly impossible to discover what they are up to, as they are cunning, patient, and ruthless. Holly will need all of her skills and talents to outthink and outmaneuver the twisted professors. So, sounds like that.
All right.
Yeah. And then we have a King quote here. King is quoted saying, quote, "I could never let Holly go. She was supposed to be a walk-on character in Mr. Mercedes and just kind of stole the book and stole my heart. Holly is all her." The book here is titled Holly, which is publishing on September 5th.
Yep.
So that is the book for this year, most likely. The only one, but
added it to my wish list on Audible.
And I just pray it's, I just blanked on his name, Will Patton. Because so far we are undefeated. We have Will Patton on every Holly Gibney book. No Holly Gibney, including the short stories and If It Bleeds, have all been read by him. So Holly Gibney has not been read by anyone but him. So I would be heartbroken if it wasn't him. Although I'll be open-minded to whoever it might be. As we get closer, we'll probably learn all about that. So looks like Mark is not 100% on the Holly train here. Holly, sigh, not that I don't enjoy those books, but selfishly want more along the lines of Revival and 11/22/63. So not necessarily that he's against Holly, but I mean, I'm just an unabashed Holly fan, so I'm all about this. I loved If It Bleeds. I would love to see more of it, and this sounds like kind of a cool setup. I mean, not that I would not say that if I were given a choice between a Holly book and like another 11/22/63 style book, but honestly, I don't know. I think that was kind of like one of those like kind of once in a lifetimes. I don't know if we can count on another King book being that level. I mean, King's obviously a master, so he certainly could if potentially, but I just think that is like a top 5 book. It may be hard to reach that level again.
I adored The Outsider.
Yeah,
like I love it. The series was great too. So let's be honest there. That's one of the better adaptations too.
Yeah.
Holly, it took a while for Holly to grow on me. Like, it was faster for you than it was for me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah, me too. And then if you do want to read the excerpt that Entertainment Weekly was given, you can go find go to the show notes, click the link to this, and there is actually a small excerpt from the book there if you want to read that. Again, we don't read it here. For 2 reasons. 1, I want to leave it up to you guys, and 2, I don't like reading them myself, so that would not work well if I had to read it on here. Carol says, wow, 80 years old with an unholy secret, proof that people don't change, they just get better at doing their thing. And yeah, I thought the same thing. That's a very interesting setup, because like everything that the way it's described there, book-lined house, they're like the picture of like respectability, they're in academia, like, and let's be honest, King has not done a lot of bad with academics. Because I think King tends to kind of put himself in that a little bit. So a lot of times academics in his stories are good people, versus like maybe religious fanatics like Carrie White's mom or Mrs. Carmody. Different story. But academics, King usually tends to be a little bit nicer to those types. So to make them the villain, and it just feels like, and then he says like book-lined house, like, if you're talking Stephen King, wouldn't that just make them innocent in King's eyes? So it just feels like King is going really like almost against what he's picturing like what would be his like maybe even himself in 10 years, but then he's twisting them to make them evil and an unholy secret. I do have to speculate as well. An unholy secret could easily be a beast. Has that entered your mind?
No.
He could very well be a beast.
You keep a beast in the basement and they just feed it, young people
kidnap kids or whatever, and then feed it to the beast. I mean, it could be that. It could be any number of things. Yeah. But my first thought was like, for your sake, maybe it's a beast.
Oh. You're the worst. You know what? You really are just the worst. I didn't think about that. Now that's all I can think about is what are they keeping in their basement?
I can't wait to find out here in September. And isn't it becoming kind of a tradition for September releases? I feel like we've had a few September releases now. Fairy Tale was September 6th.
Institute was February.
Institute was September. Yeah, and then Sleeping Beauties was. So it's not all of them because obviously The Outsider was May. If It Bleeds was April. So you have some of those that come out in the early part of the year. But there's been a number of September ones. We covered The Institute coming out. We covered Fairy Tale coming out.
Dr. Sleep came out in September.
Yeah, that was before our time as a pot. But yeah, it's just it definitely a time of Stephen King books. It seems often is September. So. Next up, we're going back to the film realm here. We've got Stephen King Children of the Corn remake acquired by RLJE and Shudder. This is by Anthony D. Alessandro from Deadline on January 26, 2023.
Another one?
Yeah, I know. That's...
We talked about this yesterday on the Hangout.
Yeah, it looks like Kurt Weimer's remake of Children of the Corn, which I think is the 11th or 12th movie in the franchise, has been picked up by RLJE Films and Shudder. The film was actually filmed back in 2020, but has faced nothing but issues and dead ends for 3 years now. But this purchase, it looks like we will finally see it cross the finish line next month. Because let's be honest, man, can you imagine if that had happened at Dark Tower? That they got it filmed and then it took 2 or 3 years for it to then come out after the filming closed. Like, at least developmental hell usually is before production. Once you get to production, that's usually like where it's kind of green, like, I don't know, smooth sailing. But not with this one. So the movie hits theaters March 3rd for an 18-day theatrical window before it hits on demand and digital on March 21st. So very short window there. I saw the trailer for this with the last movie that I went to see, and it looks like it's a girl this time around. The main
instead of
person,
Malachi.
Yeah, instead of Malachi. These girls, and it looks like there was a lot of girls. I think there's some boys too. Go on a bloody rampage and kill all the adults and anyone who opposes them. And then it says the article talks about a high schooler won't take it laying down and is the town's only hope.
Oh boy.
Honestly, outside of the original, I'm not sure a single of the films of the Children of the Corn franchise is really worth even mentioning. So I'm not sure if I have high hopes for this or not. I would love to be wrong, of course, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
This is one of those ones I won't go see it, but if it's on a streaming service and I'm by myself and nothing else to do and everything like that, I'll watch it. Carol says, my thoughts exactly, Peter. We were talking about this on the Hangout yesterday, is that we were talking about the Symbol Monkey, story,
the monkey.
The monkey.
Yeah.
And Tad is adamant that it is just ready for the big screen.
It feels like just read that story.
It's a screenplay.
And tell me it's not, you could easily, it's cut and paste. Like, just,
yeah.
There's no hard lifting. There's no like, oh, how the fuck are we going to get this to work? No. Like, literally, like, one of the easiest things in movies is if there's something the horror that's like sound or video or something that's like tangible, like the Ring, right? When that video played and you heard the sounds of it, you knew exactly what was happening. When you heard the Symbol Monkey's clangs, that's just a perfect thing. Every other horror thing, they usually like rely on music, like Jason, Michael, Freddy. Like they have those musical motifs that they play to let the audience know. But how much scarier is it when you add that into the world where the victims can hear it? You know, the victims hear that clanging and know what it means and stuff. I just feel like it's just ready to be made. Instead, we get 13 or 11 or 12, whatever the fuck, Children of the Corn movies.
In double digits. I mean, we don't need to go that high for sequels to Children of the Corn. How many different stories can you tell about murderous children taking over a town?
I do think I was reading something unrelated recently, and I do think it mentioned in passing that Bob Weinstein, which is Harvey, the evil person's brother, owns Children of the Corn, and it's kind of one of those things that they're just basically making shitty movies a lot of times to keep their rights to it.
Yeah.
Because if they don't make movies,
Isn't that what they did with Fantastic Four?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing is what I heard. I haven't had a chance to like confirm that that's the case, but as a horror fan that's seen probably way too many of these movies, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that is it on this one. Yeah, that's it on this one. So this next one's a fun thing.
What beast do you have for me now?
Oh, it's not a beast, sir. Warner Brothers takes Stephen King's bestseller Billy Summers, Bad Robot, and Appian Way to produce. And this is by Anthony D. Alessandro and Mike Fleming, double teaming it from Deadline. And this is February 3rd, 2023.
Why is DiCaprio on the screen?
That's an interesting story. So let's just recap first where we were last time we talked about Billy Summers, and I think that was about a year ago. I searched my notes to find where we covered the original that Billy Summers was optioned. Basically, it was either optioned right after it published, or there was one of the two that took longer. Actually, one was like
later was instantly or before,
and then Billy Summers took
longer, which
took
blew me away because I know how much you love later.
Yeah,
I love Billy Summers way more than later. And I don't understand how Billy Summers is not instantly, like you were saying for the monkey. It is made. It is a ready-to-go movie.
Yeah.
Ready-to-go series, whichever you want to do.
Yeah. So originally, it was when we covered it, like a month after it got published when they finally signed it. The rights were picked up, and it was being shopped around as a 10-episode limited series, and was being shopped to streamers and networks. We covered that about a year ago, but this new group, part of Warner Brothers, has decided that this works better as a feature film.
Yeah.
So this is now going to be a film for Warner Brothers, not a 10-episode thing. So what do you think of that with the story? I mean, I could see where it could have been a series, but I always felt a little bit
restrictive.
No,
it's too long.
I don't think you need that much for that story. I think that story is very straightforward.
I think if you here's the thing that you're
versus like Salem's Lot, where it's like I could see where Salem's Lot could be a series because there's a lot going on.
Not
in that
10
book.
Episodes for Salem's Lot.
No, but you could see that
5 or 6 like Midnight Mass or
The
Haunting of Hill
exactly.
House or Blind Manor kind of thing.
But Billy Summers, I think you could wrap this into a good 2.5 hour movie, and you could cover all the major beats.
Yeah, what you're going to lose if you do Billy Summers the movie versus Billy Summers the series is you're going to lose the fleshing out of more story.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose the guy he goes and meets up with in Colorado, and you get the Overlook Easter egg where he takes down the painting because he doesn't like it and stuff. You're going to lose all that kind of stuff. You might even lose I don't think you lose the girl. I forget her name.
No, she's a major part of the story.
That's like the.
It's like kind of the heart of the story. Yeah.
But I think you also may lose everything before the assassination. I think
you start with the assassination.
I think you could see him. I could see. Here's my mind. I could see him walking into work. Hey, Mr. Sutherland. Because he's not going to go by Summers.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Sutherland. How you doing today? Good. Just going to go up and do some writing. Trying to work on my book. That's great. Beep. He goes up and you just see him put the briefcase down, pop it open, and assemble the rifle. Go to the window.
Yeah.
Cut the glass. Bam.
Yeah.
And then credits roll for the opening, and then you find out that
or you can even have that going while the credits are going. Like
what I was thinking is while the credits are rolling, you get the new, like you see him make his escape, the great escape that he has. He thinks that the bag is gone from the garbage and everything like that, but his costume's there. He gets away. He gets to his apartment, and then when he makes his escape, you have the credits roll, and you have the neighbors interviewed in the credits, and you have I just can't believe it. I knew him for 3 years. Just 3 months he was living here, and just you get all that backstory in the opening credits. He played Monopoly with my kids. And it'd be a perfect place in those credits too for a Stephen King cameo. I never trusted him. Just have him be like a neighbor.
King should be the guard.
Oh, he's the security guard.
He should be the security guard of the building.
And then from there, that's where the movie starts. Okay, he just assassinated someone, and now he has to stay here, and that's his plan and everything like that. And then he's going to go on his way. Then you could even insert they were going to kill me or they're not going to kill me. Well, no, you have to have that because that's this whole revenge thing.
Yeah.
And then you have the girl land in his gutter, and that's where the movie really kicks off. That's your ramp-up moment 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. So I know that this is a tangent.
We love tangents, Ted.
Talking about Stephen King as the guard.
Yeah.
Where do you put Stephen King in the Dark Tower series? Now, Stephen King, not young Stephen King, but like Stephen King today in his 70s.
I think there should be a different Well, I mean, if you're going to have Stephen King, you're going to have Stephen King.
But he's not playing. No, I'm saying he have him as a cameo that's not himself because he can't play himself. He's too old now to play Stephen King from 1999. So, you know what I picture?
Have him be the old guy that's obsessed with the Shopala. The turtle, and
I think put him in earlier. Make him the Sheb and Tull piano player.
Oh, really?
Couldn't you just see King in some dingy ass outfit, like plucking away at the piano?
How young do you picture Ellie?
I mean, probably 30s or 40s.
be a little creepy that he's obsessed with her.
Not unrealistic. Yeah, it's not,
With him on the screen.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's
Josh says one of the old folk outside of blood. That's a good one.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Mother Talitha, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
He could also. I mean, he also could just be someone in the college. He could be Grandpappy, the one that tells him about the wolf, how he killed a wolf. Where's my taters?
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, he could. You always just throw him in something minor, like a person on the jetliner.
Oh yeah,
with Eddie. You know,
have him be the customs guy.
Yeah,
or the pilot.
Yeah,
he's the pilot. We're gonna break down this door.
Yeah. I mean, that's not realistic. They only make force pilots into retirement at like 50.
Oh, that's true.
So I don't know. It just thinking about it, him and Billy Summers, it just dawned on me where I'm like, I don't think we've ever actually given it credit of like what would King play, because he's too old to play himself. Like,
we're gonna call it the Stan Lee cameo for King for every time we talk about something being adapted.
Well, yeah, where do you put? And that's the thing.
Yeah, where do you Stan Lee him?
He's not even like in all of his stuff. Obviously, he's done some cameos, but he's not.
He can't be Gasher. I mean, I know he loves torturing Jake. We've seen this already, but yeah. No, you want to know? Here's the best role for King. I'm going to give him a role, not a cameo. I'm going to give him a role.
That's dangerous, but go on.
He's Oi. Oi. Just this old man bark.
Oh man. All right, so diving in here now after a little tangent there. So Warner Brothers has acquired the best-selling Billy Summers and is currently in development. The project is being produced by J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot and Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way. So that's his production company.
Okay.
So that's why he's on the screen.
He's helping produce it.
So with those production companies involved, there is a thought that this could actually be directed by J.J. Abrams with DiCaprio in the titular role.
He would not be a bad Summers.
No, and that would elevate the movie in a large way too.
That would be really cool to see a Stephen King adaptation with DiCaprio playing a main character.
Yeah, So that's what the speculation in the article is that it's like with these two production companies.
I love Billy Summers. Oh
yeah, well, yeah, and that's what I was wondering. What would you think of old DiCaprio?
I think he's got the chops. I mean, we've seen the man play everything from Southern racist to a Boston gangster to I'm the king of the world.
Romeo from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Mark says Nort for Stephen King.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that this could be a huge thing, though. J.J. Abrams, obviously, good director. He has not all hits, of course. I mean, success-wise, yes, but there's some stuff that people are not super happy with, like some of his Star Trek stuff, some of his Star Wars stuff.
I think those are. It's hard pressed to find a Bad Robot production that's terrible that doesn't already have like a pre-established huge fan base.
Yeah.
I
mean, he's done his like there's like Super 8 and stuff, which felt like a cool like throw into like old Spielberg like thing. I've liked some of his stuff. I just can't say that all of it has been my favorite. I think sometimes it's better for him to do something that's not like an established thing. And I think like Billy Summers,
established franchise like that, like
exactly.
Star Trek, Star Wars. There's so much there for the fandoms and stuff like that that if you stray anywhere from it, which he did in both of those.
Yeah.
That it was like, and he made choices that were questionable in both of those.
Yeah.
Like, because the thing is that not with Star Wars, but with Star Trek, he was remaking and retelling it's an alternate universe.
The most iconic.
One of the most iconic Star Trek story.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Khan, and he retold it in a way that people just went, why?
Yeah.
What'd you do that for? And then Star Wars, we'll talk about that.
And Carol says, and with that, it went blockbuster, and I think that's true.
If it has DiCaprio,
if it's DiCaprio and J.J. Abrams, like those names, that puts this into a whole different realm for most King things. I mean, even like big King shit like it, not saying anything wrong with Andy Muschietti. Obviously, like Stranger Things ended up making one of the kids was super popular. So there was a lot of behind it, as well as it's one of the most iconic King things of all time. But I just think that
Well,
Billy
we're talking
Billy
something
Summers,
different with
yeah, most
DiCaprio.
most regular non-constant readers, they've never heard of Billy Summers.
No.
You know, so but if they see J.J. Abrams with DiCaprio, I think that changes the entire dynamic of what this movie could be, and that could just make it potentially a bigger project than anything we've really seen before in a long time for King. So, and then Ed Zwick and Marshall Herkovitz, which both worked on The Last Samurai, are writing the script. And then the last thing I wanted to outline here is Bad Robot has previously done Lizzie Story, Castle Rock, and 11/22/63. So that is their pedigree when it comes to Stephen King works.
That's their resume.
Yeah, that's their resume for King works. And yeah, I have not finished Lizzie's Story yet. I need to finish that one. I let my Apple membership lapse, so I need to get back on that. But Lizzie's Story, it was good. Everything I've seen so far. Castle Rock was incredible. 11/22/63, nowhere near as good as the book, but honestly, what could be as good as that book?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't hold that against it a whole lot there. What am I missing in the chat here?
Mark and Carol both got good praise for DiCaprio. Mark says he's never made he's an awesome actor, never made a bad film. And Carol agrees with him. He really kept good reps around him his entire career, which is important. There's some people.
I mean, when
who
he was
go off the rails.
when he was the pretty boy in the 90s, there was a lot of people that didn't like him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was necessarily justified. It was more of just hate the pretty boy.
Yeah.
You know, but then he got picked up by Scorsese in like 2004, I think. And since then, people are like, "Holy shit, he can act. He's really got some chops to act.
Boy can act."
And yeah,
Was he in?
he's had an unstoppable
Was he in
run.
Gangs of New York?
Yes.
Yeah, with Daniel Day-Lewis. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah. What I still want is Mr. Scorsese
Okay.
to do a film with DiCaprio, one of his newer, his newest fixation, right?
His newest toy.
And De Niro in the same movie.
His older toy.
Yeah. Those two are like the most iconic
They did
Scorsese
a movie
actors.
together.
I don't think so.
No?
But I want to see it. I want to see those guys. Because I actually wanted him to show up in The Irishman. That would have been the best. If you found a role for him there and you had like all of the talent in that, but you also added in DiCaprio, like would have been. I mean, it was already a great movie in my opinion. But yeah, I want to see Scorsese work with both his early career muse. That's the word I was trying to find. His early career muse and his later career muse. I want to have them both in the same movie. That would be incredible in my mind. Don't worry, we've got some other stuff to cover, but that is it for the news. Basically what it comes down to is just like the rest of the world, Hollywood generally shuts down for the holidays.
Yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't even start up until, because you have Sundance at the end of January. So a lot of Hollywood, like I was reading a tweet by like someone that was a writer. They were talking about trying to sell a script. He outlined like the way the year looks. And literally there's like the whole first part of the year. It's like, there's like Thanksgiving, and then there's like Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, and then like Sundance is like only a couple weeks away. So then everyone's just like, I'm not going back to the office. I just got to go to Sundance.
I'll wait till after Sundance.
So it's just literally this is just the worst time for like movie and like entertainment news, because they're off just as much as the rest of the world.
De Niro and DiCaprio were in The Boy's Life together. He plays his awful stepdad.
You know, but I mean with Scorsese directing.
With like a gangsta movie.
It doesn't even have to be gangster, but just with Scorsese, because I just think
Does Scorsese do anything besides gangster movies?
Sure he does. Sure he does.
Name one.
Silence, the one with the priest with is Andrew Garfield in that one? That came out like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
He does plenty. Hugo.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
Family movie there, which is very against type for him. But he now, I think the problem with him is that all of his most iconic work is gangster stuff, but he does do other stuff for sure. Raging Bull. It's not gangster.
Okay.
So yeah,
I didn't know that was Scorsese, honestly.
Yeah. I would just love to see that trio. It's kind of like with The Irishman, having Scorsese and then he has De Niro and Pacino. Like that's just that's a holy trinity there. Not to mention you have like Harvey Keitel in there, which is
isn't Joe Pesci in that too?
And Joe Pesci too.
Yeah.
That movie is just
loaded.
It's loaded. Indeed. So maybe DiCaprio couldn't have fit in there. But so that is it for the news. Or actually no, it isn't. I just don't have something on my screen for it, but I do have a slide though.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and click over to it real quick. We have a Flanagan picture. that got released on Flanagan's social media.
By Flanagan himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been repurposed a number of times, but
Pedro. Dude, if he's gonna play Roland, Roland.
That is what the whole blow up on social media was. Is immediately everyone's like, he'd make a good Roland. So,
Dude, I adore Pedro Pascal.
now
I adore him.
who doesn't? I mean, he's incredible.
He's so funny and great.
He's my second favorite character in Game of Thrones. That's really what made him. He had some stuff that he did before that, but that's what put him on the map. Ever since then, I think he's been like an A-lister. So yeah, I've followed his career with great interest since Game of Thrones. And
Obviously, his popularity is even skyrocketing more now with The Last of Us.
The Last of
Dude,
Us, The Mandalorian.
Someone dug up that he was like he had a one episode appearance in Buffy the Vampire Slayer back in like 2000. It's
Really?
like, holy shit! Look, dude, he's a teenager. Like he's so young.
I was saw an interview, or it's one of those news places that they'll do a thing where they have a famous person. They'll talk through their career, whether it's a director or an actor and stuff. It was done before The Mandalorian with Pedro, and he was going through it and stuff. And they were talking about when he got to Game of Thrones. An interesting story he told is he flew out to the area. He kind of was told he had the job, but then his agent was saying that nothing was coming through paperwork wise. So he was just like super like, do I have this job or not?
I get it.
And he said like literally they started taking molds of his head for a very specific reason that they needed cast of his head. And he's like in all this stuff and they're doing all this and he's like, do I have the part? Because like my agent's telling me I still don't have the part and you guys are like, getting clay castings of my freaking head.
Yeah.
So it was just hilarious that the way it works, right?
Oh,
Like-
it's so funny.
But yeah, I love Mr. Pascal. So what do you think? I mean,
I'm down.
Roland,
I'm down.
any other thoughts or
No.
is
I'm down. Sign me up. Like seriously. Like we've already seen it with Joel. We've seen it with the Mandalorian. He can play a gruff. No.
yeah.
You want to explain that? No.
I mean, yeah, so far what he's done in The Last of Us, like the kind of like strong silent type, but emoting very well with just like facial expressions and stuff. Like some guys just can't, some guys or girls can't do that very well. That's just a very hard thing to do. There's a next level acting that happens sometimes with people where it's just in their eyes and stuff. And some of the stuff he's done there, I'm like, that's the kind of thing I want from Roland. Roland's not going to be one that's going to be like pouring his heart out and having like long like monologues and stuff. Like he's going to be one that's like
stoic,
troubled, and you see it in his face, or it's like something's troubling him, and Pascal's been showing that so far. So this, like I said, this kind of turned the whole Dark Tower online community a little bit on its head a bit.
a little bit of a buzz.
Yeah, so I was that's why I just let you see it the way and to kind of respond in kind here.
Mark says one can only hope, talking about Mr. Pascal here. And then he also says someone Dreamcast Bill Hader for Roland, and with the pick they put up, I can definitely see it. But I called Pedro years ago.
Okay, yeah, didn't we cover that?
The Bill Hader?
I think the one we covered was somebody saying Bill Hader should play Stephen King.
Oh, okay.
Because it's such a weird element of like, wait, the author of the book that this is based on is coming into this story. And so basically the person's argument was, if you put someone that has like some credibility with the audience, like Bill Hader, that's kind of charming and stuff, make him Stephen King. But no, Mark, you're right. I actually remember reading that. I didn't grab it to cover it for some reason. I think I must have forgot. But I did read that person that was saying that Bill Hader should be Roland. I think Mr. Pascal would be a fine choice for Roland, for sure.
Fine choice. A fine fellow.
Yeah.
Carol says we need the hook it to my veins category.
Yes. Maybe I should get that as a soundbite.
I wrote that down. It's a great idea for a soundbite. Because there's a lot of things that me and you were just like, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hook it to my veins.
Yeah, so Mr. Flanagan is toying with us here, man. You got Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul, yeah.
I mean, now he just
What next? If he shows up with a woman who looks like she could play Susanna,
yeah.
and then a young boy, and then he shows up with a dog, I'm going to start getting very, very suspicious.
A raccoon.
A raccoon.
He has Sean Gunn's brother.
No, Sean Gunn is the brother.
Or
James Gunn's
yeah,
brother.
yeah, that's weird. I'm surprised I even remembered his name, Sean Gunn. But
Proud of
yes,
you. I mean, you still said it wrong, but
Yeah. But, you know, I'm pretty intrigued by this, Mark. If good call on calling it. I don't know if this really would have crossed my mind a lot. Not that there's any reason not to.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I've loved him since Game of Thrones, so like I think he's really talented. Now, of course, Mandalorian, he started showing a different type of acting, and then like Last of Us, it's like the next level of that. But yeah, it never would have been one I would have like thought of. It's one of these really cool casting calls that like, never would have thought of it. The second I saw it, I was like, fucking yes, like that's brilliant. Like it's one of those like you never would have thought of it, but it's completely self-evident once you see it. You're like, duh, of course. Like, yes, please. And then Mark said he said it on the show, so yeah, we got a record of it. And I don't remember for some reason.
I don't either. Shame on us. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mark, we cry your apologies.
Cry your pardon.
Cry your pardon. God.
See, now you're saying things wrong.
What have you done to us?
Getting all punchy here.
Gosh. And we're only on show number 1 of 2.
I spiked your drink. I put some vodka in there.
I don't handle my alcohol well.
So yeah, that is the end of the news, though.
Is it?
But yeah, that's
Where's the picture of Flanagan with a wheelchair?
Yeah, a train. He does a selfie like
he's just a selfie with a train.
No, if said train were pink, of course. You know, happy things are pink, right? You know, nothing dangerous or evil would be pink. They'd be black or some sort of scary color.
Hey, don't.
You know, like the Dark Tower. That's sinister. It's evil. You look at it and you're just like, ugh.
It's not evil.
I don't know.
It's red.
Well, on our logo, it's red. All right, so now moving over to odds and ends. First of all, we have Welcome to Derry is apparently moving forward because it is beginning filming this year.
Yeah.
Last we heard, they were like hired some writers for a pilot. But as we've seen from The Dark Tower, pilot doesn't mean anything. The fact that they're actually, I mean, I guess they could even just be filming a pilot, so I don't know how much they're filming. But the thing that popped up says it is shooting date April 3rd, 2023 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It says project summary set in the 1960s, and it centers on the origin story of Pennywise the Clown. And this is from a trade publication, so this isn't just like internet speculation. So... that it looks like that is actually moving forward. You seem confused, sir.
Carry the 1 and subtract that, and are we going to get another cycle of Pennywise?
I think it will. Yeah, and it
Because
probably
if we're following the movies,
which it's Machete
it
involved
was
here, so
the 80s.
yeah,
So 27 years before that would be
it was like
late 50s, early 60s.
but it's not always 27.
It's not always exactly 27 years. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer.
Yeah.
So we might be getting an origin of Pennywise, it says. So are they saying that he doesn't come until the 60s?
I don't think that, because the
or
movie's
is
already
it the 60s when he is telling someone his origin or something?
or
like
that people
that?
are maybe digging into it. Some I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, what if there's a group that digs into it, like 4 or 5 people that dig into it, kind of like a losers club kind of thing? They're digging into it, and he kills them all.
Yeah.
I'll kill you all!
Kind of like Rogue One. You went to that movie going, oh, this isn't going to go. This isn't going to work out well for everyone involved here. And it didn't.
Scarif go boom.
It didn't go my way, though. When that movie, before it came out, I was like, I hope the end of this movie, like, you get all in love with all these characters, then Vader slaughters them all. That was my hope. Now, we did get some Vader slaughter, but it wasn't the main characters. I was hoping, though, man, because can you imagine how much more, I mean, I know Vader's already, like, as high as it gets, but how much does that elevate him if he went and iced all the main characters of a movie at the end of the movie?
Especially after you fell in love with them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest person in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then Vader, he just cut his head off.
Welcome to Derry filming in April. We will see what that is. I don't know if they're just filming a pilot. Hopefully, though, they have got all the green lights and it is going full bore, because I would hate to have a pilot that we never see that gets turned down and not move forward on. Because, it'll be fun to have more Pennywise in our lives, right? And the big question we don't know is Billy Boy coming back?
Yeah.
We have not heard. I assume with Andy Machete being involved in stuff that they would bring him back, but like, it is television now. That's a whole different thing.
He's done television, though.
He has. He did
Castle
Rock. So I would assume that he might be open to it, but until I see a thing saying that Mr. Billy Boy has signed on the dotted line.
Skarsgård cast.
Yeah.
Unknown characters, like, shut up.
Upcoming,
we know what it is.
in the upcoming movie, he's also playing Eric Draven.
Oh, is he?
In the new Crow remake, he is doing that. So I would normally poo-poo that. I poo-pooed every reboot, revamp, whatever they've tried to do over the last 20 years or 25 years. But Billy Boy has proven to me now that he can step into impossible shoes and fill them quite well. So I'll be interested to see what he does with that. But yeah, moving forward on that, it sounds like. Can't wait to see. And I was intrigued what you would think as a obviously a bigger It fan.
It's interesting that it is taking place in the 60s. I think we are absolutely going to get another cycle, or maybe in between cycles. Mike doing some digging, this person's doing their digging. The cycle happens in 1958. It's 62, and they're digging into my sister was murdered. How did this happen? Kind of thing, and looking at all the dirt that got left out of Mike's backstory in It. So
I'll also throw it out there. If you need a place to come and watch it, I know that Pennywise isn't all that welcomed in your home. If you, whenever it gets around to airing, if you need a place, sir,
this is a safe space.
Yeah, this office is always open to you to come watch some Welcome to Derry. You can always bring your daughter too if you want to introduce her into the Pennywise realm, sir. Let's see. What is
this is true. He says, Josh says, I was away from my phone for a minute. Tad mentioned the Dark Tower is evil because it's black. You know who else wears black?
No, he wears blue denim.
No. The first line of the novel, sir. The man in what color?
Man in denim.
The man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed.
None of this slander, sir.
Dad, it's not slander. You said it.
No.
It's not. Roll the tape. We have it on video.
I was talking, non-living things.
Non-living
like
things.
Trains and towers and whatnot.
I'm pretty sure Randall Flagg is a non-living thing. I don't think he's not a man.
He's a lovable character. So next up, we also have the Boogeyman poster. That released because we obviously had the trailer come out. It says, "Don't let it out." Got the Boogeyman
from the mind of Stephen King. I love that phrase.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun one coming to theaters here in June. Okay, so next up we have I guess this is part of Odds and Ends. It's not really like Stephen King recommends.
King's old man humor.
King is throwing some old man humor on Twitter here.
Okay.
The first one, he says, I like to annoy my children and grandchildren by saying totes adorbs and amazeballs. It gets them every time. So, yeah, that's love that. He says, I also annoy them with dude, that's banging. Which, a dude in his 70s saying these things, you know that all the kids and grandkids are just groaning, right? So, it's just perfect thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there, though.
Oh, no.
He also tweeted a joke. What do you call a magician who has lost his magic? Ian. And he says, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to tip your waitress. And, of course, I, as a comedy critic, I had to get a GIF there to throw on the screen.
Boo.
Yeah, dad jokes.
Tad does not like dad jokes.
No, I'm only that it was Stephen King did I allow this on the show. But
now, if anyone wants
it.
To put dad jokes into the Discord or in the chat, feel free. I mean,
none of that now.
He feels the same way about those like I do about emojis, and it's only fair, right? Right?
Yeah. No, that's terrible.
Right?
Although that is like slightly clever, because it's like wordplay, like magician take off magic, and it's just Ian's left like that. I mean, it feels a little bit less dad jokey because it's like, I guess I like words, and so like the wordplay is kind of fun for me. And doesn't it fit King too as an author, a man to have like that wordplay stuff? Yeah. There was a whole thing months ago where King tweeted something, and there was like it looked like what would be a typo, but he was like. That was part of like the joke or whatever. I don't remember.
Tie. Bow tie. It was something about bow ties. And then the guy's like, you would think that someone who's an author would get that right. And
I don't remember we covered on the show, but I just remember shaking my head. It's like, do you not think that he fucking knows, dude? Like the dude's written more. I mean, I know there's editors involved, but it's like this dude's been writing pretty much his entire life since he was like, what was the story? Like 4, 5, 6 years old, and like earliest grade school, he was like selling short stories to kids and stuff. So guy's been writing his whole life. Like I'm pretty sure he knows the difference on that, and
Yeah.
maybe there's a point that you're missing and it's going over your head if you're.
Yeah, it was very clear that King was making a joke, and the guy was like, "Wow."
Yeah, exactly. Made me roll my eyes. Next up, we have Uncle's TV Recommends. He tweeted and said, "Poker Face on Peacock, Pure Entertainment Gold, Natasha Leone shines." And I have to say, I wholeheartedly agree. I'm a huge Ryan Johnson fan. Ryan Johnson did it. And it is very much like Columbo. And if you're under the age of 70 and don't know what Columbo is, the idea of Columbo a lot of times, as I understand it, was Columbo, you would see the crime happen, and then the rest of the episode, it was Columbo trying to solve it, but you as the audience were already clued in to kind of what happened. And that's kind of the way Poker Face has been going. Highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's been a blast so far. I haven't watched the 6th episode, but King agrees. And then he actually got a response from Mr. Ryan Johnson, who retweeted that and says, "Take it from a man who knows Shining. Thank you at Stephen King." And then some heart emojis and the thank you
sir.
type thing.
Namaste.
So, and I got to give credit to Ryan there for a man who knows Shining, because he says that Natasha Leone shines, and then fun little stuff there.
Yeah.
What are you polluting this chat with your lies here,
Oh,
sir?
I'm just stating a fact. You said it, not me.
No, he's a lovable character, sir.
What did the pirate say on his 80th birthday? "I matey."
Boo. Boo.
Oh, I love it. It came out, and you're the one that said it. You don't like
Boo.
dad jokes. Yay.
How dare you?
Oh, I love it.
It's the
Thank
worst.
you, Mark. Thank you.
It's the worst. Okay, so jumping over to the Palaver section, and we did announce this up front that we would be unveiling the March Madness bracket, and we are going to go through it one step at a time, talk about it.
Yeah.
The matchups we got, how it all lined out once we had all the votes in and stuff, in terms of what the final 16 would be to make the bracket.
Yep.
This will be and we'll talk about it after we talk about the bracket. We'll talk about the dates, and I will have links on the website and stuff.
And there's
as we
also
get closer.
a little bit of an announcement about content during the bracket, right?
Oh yes, indeed.
Are we going to cover that now or at the end?
We'll cover it during the dates.
Okay.
So
I didn't want you to forget that part because
Oh.
it was something that we just decided just a while ago, but then
Yeah.
we kind of just let it fall by the wayside. So
yeah, got our bracket here. Let's see what we got. So starting in at the top here.
cameras
Oh yeah, we gotta. Let's go
for the bracket cameras.
Just slides. I don't know if I still have the bracket one actually.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna have to be off the screen for just a bit. Go and change that there. All right. So first one is Eddie kills Blaine.
Mm-hmm.
That one is going up against Roland and the Tet. Run down the Coffin Hunters.
Okay.
So any thoughts there? Like I guess you could, if there's any reactions you have, I guess just throw them out there.
I mean, both of those are great moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think across the board we're gonna have nothing but great moments here. But yeah. Next up, Toll Massacre versus the opening line.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and of course, the opening line. It's not necessarily that it's the line itself,
Interesting.
but we do all love the line. But it's about that moment of like the
Interesting.
hard pan, the desert, the gunslinger, the man in black.
I didn't notice when you sent this to me and said, "Hey, do you see any that are like drastically uneven, or is there anything you would suggest changing?" I didn't notice. These first four that we've gone through are they're from the same book.
Oh,
Tull and opening line are both book one.
yeah, those are
Eddie
funny.
kills Blaine, and Roland and Tet ride down Coffin Hunters is book 4.
Yeah, that's true. So Mark said, "What's this? I've missed something." So we're doing our so we did in 2019. We did the March Madness where we did the most hated character. We didn't let it die. We just kind of lost it for a bit.
Yeah.
But we brought it back in 2020,
2021
or 2021.
for most beloved.
Most beloved.
No,
we
2022.
Yeah, I mean,
2022 because it was last year.
yeah. So we brought it back then. So there was a layoff there. But 2022 we brought back. We did the most beloved to finish out what the other side of the most hated would be, and we decided that we wanted to keep this an annual thing.
Yeah.
So we will have fan voting to decide this year's is the best Dark Tower moment.
And the winner of the previous two was Rhea was the most hated, And Eddie
Dean.
I've been slandering my boy Eddie by saying Oi was the most beloved.
Oi,
he was the runner-up.
Yeah, Eddie won by a single vote.
Single vote last year. Yeah. So this year, like Tad said, March Madness. To get into it, it's the best Dark Tower moment, and we define moment as something like you can't say
like all of Door 3.
All of Door 3 was the
that's
was the
too
example
big
of it and everything like that. And
Mark, it's not finished. It hasn't started yet. It'll start. We'll talk about that as soon as we're done with the bracket here.
Yeah.
Voting starts on March 1st. I guess I could say that part of it.
Yeah.
But I'll break down because we're just riffing on the whole college basketball in America has the March Madness tournament where it's a whole. That's basically all college basketball is. Like I know effectively there's other stuff involved, but nobody cares about anything other than
there
that.
is a regular season that determines how you
but
finish.
Nobody cares.
All that matters is that you make it to the dance.
Yeah.
Really, which is what it's called. March Madness is called the dance. Just sorry, but
and we're just
60,
twisting it.
64 plus teams. I think it's like up to 67 now. They have play-in games.
Nonsense
and everything. So it's like 67 teams have a chance, and then it's literally a bracket like this, and it's just what spawned the original idea. Do you remember what spawned the original idea? It's Star Wars. Star Wars did what's your favorite Star Wars character? March Madness, and Vader won one year, Obi-Wan won one year, Yoda won, and then me and you were like, we should do one for Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Except let's not just do the generic, who loves it. Let's
go negative first.
Let's go negative first. So we did. Who do you hate?
And did we have any doubt? The only thing I wondered is if Cordelia might upset Rhea, but I figured it would come down to those two.
I was wondering about Mordred and Gasher were the two,
yeah.
and everything. And if I remember right, that was the final four.
I think that was the final
yeah.
four. Yeah.
This mark here is just unveiling the bracket, letting you know that you can vote starting March 1st. So first two,
because we won't be back episode wise in a roundtable until March 11th.
Yeah,
exactly 1 month from today. I just realized that. So we want to unveil the bracket now so that you all know what's coming up starting March 1st. We'll get to dates as soon as I'm done with the bracket here. Yeah. Let's go to the next one, though. It is Jake's final essay and Roland saying command me nothing. Again, same books.
Mm-hmm. Those are both book 3. No.
Yeah.
Is Roland command me nothing in book 3? I thought it was in book 4.
No, they set up set everything up.
Oh, right, because he does the command me nothing, says you're giving us nothing to play for.
Yeah,
and everything
get
like
it all set up, and then it's the dot.
And then it's the Oi of Midworld, Jake of New York, Susanna of New York. He goes through all their names. He's like, let the rolling begin. And then you turn the page, and it's like, the end. And you're like, no.
It's like, you bastard. And then he takes 7 years to write the next book.
Yeah, which I didn't have to wait for.
No, you didn't. I should have made you wait, though.
Oh, no.
Would you?
In fact, we can be perfectly honest with this. I never read your copy of Wizard and Glass. I didn't wait for you. I went and bought my own because I was not giving you any opportunity to pull shit.
Here's the thing. Would you put it past me to go to all of the Barnes & Nobles within a driving radius and buy out that book in every one of them?
I would not put it past you. You're a horrible human being, but the internet was a thing back then.
Not Amazon and stuff, though.
So
that was before a lot of that were whatever.
No, that's what Amazon was in the early
days. No, I know,
but
selling most people weren't. I doubt you had an Amazon account.
I would have found a way to get that book, sir.
And there's no 2-day shipping at the time, so you would have had to wait like a week and a half to get it.
What I honestly probably would have done, my first thing would, and you wouldn't have been able to stop me from doing this, is I would have gone to the public library.
Oh yeah,
they carry King.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So that another.
Oh my gosh, are all of them going to be in the same book?
No, I don't think so. So next one, Roland starts again with the horn, and then Balazar's shootout.
Okay.
So there's the breakup there. So yeah. That should be, and again, so what the other thing is I tried to do is the four corners were the highest voted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of how it breaks down. It's like
not voted, but submitted.
Submitted.
This is fans submitted and us submitted our top moments for what we thought the top moments were. Tad compiled them into a list, saw which ones got the most votes, and then that's where he kind of ranked them, and that's what he's talking about with the corners.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have Showdown at the Traveler's Rest and Jake's drawing. So, the Traveler's Rest was a heavy hitter, as was Balazar Shootout, as was Eddie Kills Blaine. A lot of Eddie moments.
I wonder why. He is the favorite character.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting, for sure, that Eddie was so prevalent in some of the bigger ones there. Next one.
Because he's the best.
Speaking of the best, Palaver with the Man in Black going up against Wolves of the Kala fight. The final battle there. So Battle of Wits versus I guess there is Battle of Wits in the Wolves too.
Roland outsmarts everyone.
Yeah, there's some trickery involved there. So next up, the second to last one, Roland calling the names to the tower and Jake's second death.
This makes me sad.
Yeah. Poor Jake, but there are other worlds than these, right? And then the last one here, Roland looks into the jetliner, and Roland dancing the Kamala is the last showdown.
Two Roland moments going head to head. I like it.
Yeah. So that is the first round. That'll be all the matchups, and then we will go down. Oh yeah, I guess we can bring ourselves back on the screen here. I guess get off here, go like this. All right, sorry about that. Oh, did I screw up the slides here?
Technical difficulties.
See, that's what happens. Okay, so let's go. Get us back. Transition back. Get us back on the screen here, and then we can go to the next slide here. Oh, let's get past all these because it reset itself. So here's how we're looking at it for the
dates.
The dates. Just like last year, we're basically always going to have the same dates.
Yeah.
The first round will be March 1st through March 8th. Second round will be March 9th through the 16th. Final four will be March 17th through 24th. And the finals will be March 25th through March 31st, which means that the very first roundtable of April is when we will have roundtable coverage of who our winner is.
And crowning a champion.
Yep, crowning the champion, giving out the trophy, all that fun stuff.
You love me. You really love me.
You know, is that more iconic for Sally Fields than anything she's actually done in movies?
Yes.
Like, I don't know. That's probably, it probably is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that, then what Peter was alluding to is I am going to do a YouTube shorts at the end of each of these rounds and unveil the winners, because we don't have enough shows because of how we do our shows, that a lot of this is going to happen when we don't have episodes between. I think we're only going to have
one
episode.
One
Yeah,
episode.
that's true. Yeah, because we do book clubs. So
we do one book club and one roundtable per month, and
we were talking about it. We can't really do it on a book club because there's
spoilers.
too spoiler heavy.
We take up the entire spoiler section, and with us starting our new podcast, with us keeping Dark Tower Palaver to a trim 2 hours, it's going to be a little bit hard to have tangents talking about March Madness while doing spoilers for the book club episode that we just covered.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with where we're at in the book club. I mean, for God's sakes, we're at the end of Lud.
Yeah.
Like, Roland just rescued Jake.
And Oi is probably a little sore right now.
Oi is a little wrung out.
Yes. I'm surprised you would make that joke, sir. So what I'll do is hit the YouTube and subscribe and stuff. And what we'll do is I'll just have short, probably 5 minutes or less videos where I'll pop on at the end of each round, talk about the winners, and then talk about the next matchups and how it all lines out. So you'll be able to keep up to date on there on the YouTube side. So follow us on YouTube. If you're on the podcast side, you don't really use the YouTube a lot, go there and you can keep up with it week to week. As at the end of each round, it'll be kind of like the ESPN. You know, I'll be at the desk and I can't say I'll have like the suit and tie and stuff. I don't even think I own one, but you know,
They get you know that they make those that's
like,
just like the cover.
Yeah,
they like throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah, they did that for school pictures.
I just remember this is Sports Center one where there's a guy that would come on and he would be like on a camera like this, and he's like, and we're out. It's like, okay, I'm off. And he like rips it off. He's got like long hair. And he's like, Mom, I'm done with my segment. Make me Hot Pockets or something like that. It's just like, he's like he was supposed to be a teenager. Where do people go to vote, Tad?
That will be announced on the website when we launch it. I have a website I found. In the past, I've always ran it on the website itself, but it's always been a little bit clunky and manual on my side. So I found a place that literally all they do is you could set up the entire bracket and set up the dates and everything, and it'll run all of it automatically. So it makes it a little bit easier.
It'll be the same website for all the different rounds.
Every round. Yeah.
So when that does get sent out, we will not. You'll be able to just save it and go through and vote there each of the 4 rounds here.
Yep. Any predictions?
We haven't. One more thing before my predictions. We haven't done it before. We're just going to cover it because I don't think we've ever actually said this, but we don't take votes from social media or here in the chat or anything like that. So
no, the votes will be just on the
website.
On the website itself.
So if you want your vote to count and you want your favorite moment of the Dark Tower series to be crowned, go to the website and everything. I think it's going to be the showdown of the Traveler's Rest.
Yeah, that feels like
I can't allow it. I thought I could, but I just can't. I can't abide it.
It's Cuthbert. How can you not love it, right?
It's Eddie Light.
Looking at the other things, the other heavy hitters there. I could see like Eddie killing Blaine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really do. The Traveler's Rest is so dear to my heart too.
The Traveler's Rest one comes up so often,
and everyone seems to love it. Even when we were doing nominations, it seems like the people that forgot it, once they learned they forgot it, they wanted to submit again.
So they could have
as a matter of fact,
I was one of them.
So
yes.
yeah, I just feel like that might be a hard one to beat. But we've had upsets.
Eddie won most beloved character
over Oi,
for
God's sake,
and Jake and Roland.
Rhea, we all knew that was
and Flag.
We all knew Rhea was going to win. There was no doubt in that.
Mark says toll for me, close call with the Traveler's Rest. See, exactly.
Yeah.
Traveler's Rest is still mentioned with it, so that's what I'm just saying. I think Traveler's Rest is going to be a juggernaut in this year's bracket, and
I think I'm going to also throw out. So I'll say Traveler's Rest, and on the other side, I think Eddie killing Blaine.
Yeah,
I think that might, in my view, my prediction.
I think you need to watch out Eddie kills Blaine versus the opening line. So many people love that opening line that when it comes down to it,
but everyone loves Eddie killing Blaine.
I know.
Man.
It's his moment and everything like that.
Yeah,
but man, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upset in round 2 there.
So I don't know. Take a note of it. That's my prediction for the finals. Okay. We'll see what happens. Eddie kills Blaine versus the Traveler's Rest. We'll see any upsets. And what do you think? Finals. So you said Traveler's Rest you think is going to win it, so you know that's going to be that side. What about the other side? What do you think? What are you predicting? What do you think is going to end up in the final?
Hold on one sec.
Oh, do you not have it up?
No, my camera.
The
camera's on,
blocking,
so I can't see the bottom ones. I just wanted to double check, make sure I'm not missing any.
Carol says calling the names, the demand to enter the tower. For me, she says, and honestly, I agree. I love that moment. That actually might be one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite moment of all. I just don't know if everyone else agrees with me enough. But if it were up to me, and it was just Tad creating this, and we asked me one for one on every one of these, that Carol, you would be right if it were up to me entirely, because I love that moment.
I'm not trying to be unoriginal, but I think you're right. I think it is going to be those two, and I think the Traveler's Rest is going to win it, though.
Okay. So you take that prediction down?
You said Eddie kills Blaine and Traveler's Rest, but you didn't pick a clear winner.
Oh, in terms of which would win? Yeah, that's tough, man. I think it's Traveler's Rest, though, man. That moment is so good.
Okay.
Let's see. And Carol says, well, 2 votes so far, 3. So there's we'll see what happens though. I'm excited. I'm also going to post all this on social media and maybe even on like the Dark Tower subreddit and get as many votes as possible. I think it'd be interesting to widen the net a little bit and see what everyone's thoughts are.
Well, you're just posting the link to the website because again, not taking votes from anyone that's the comments in those posts or anything like that.
No, not comments, but I'll post the links to the actual vote and say, hey, everyone.
So when you see it, go vote and you can.
And then
you can spam vote.
Actually, this place may not allow that.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah, I think they actually track IPs. Now, if you have like a computer and a phone, you might be able to vote twice.
My wife has a phone. My daughter has a tablet. I have a computer.
Well, your tablet would be on your Wi-Fi, so it'd be your IP. Your home Wi-Fi is one IP. So
my daughter takes her tablet to my parents' house.
Peter cheating the system here.
I mean,
let's see. And then Ben says, I missed the choices, but Roland's coming of age fight with Cord is one of my favorites too. Yeah, that's a big one. That one actually just didn't make the final 16.
Just wasn't.
God, I think we had like 7, almost
you
60
you
something.
threw it back out to the Patreons that you needed them to resubmit a top 10 because we had too many that were
tied. There was a bunch of them with the exact same amount of.
Was it 10 that were tied, or was it like 7?
Something like that. But I mean, overall, I think there was something like close to 60 something, if not 70 something, that were submitted. So we had a lot of moments.
Because it's a great series
to weed through. So, that is that. And now
emails. It's the emails. Tad's gonna read us what people wrote to us.
You know that's not getting deleted, right?
God damn it. Good times.
All right, so I guess
back when I was less traumatized by Tad.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's true. You've traumatized me plenty.
I've had a couple decades to.
I could name one thing that you introduced me to since that clip was recorded that traumatized me greatly.
Oh yeah, go on.
Creep Show.
Oh, okay. And I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't even know.
That's
man.
what makes it your favorite is that you had no idea that it was.
I was just like, dude,
that.
it's George Romero and Stephen King. Like, how can you go wrong?
Yeah.
And then you freaking text me, screaming in text that how dare I?
All caps for like 7 messages. Like, you son of a bitch.
And I'm just like, God, which one got him? Like the mossy, like the King's version of Last of Us.
Yeah,
the moss.
Yeah. Oh, King did it first. King did it first.
All right, so we have Terry emailing us here. He says, hey, guys.
Hi, Terry.
He says, I just started listening along with the book clubs to help me pick up on details I may have missed.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed your conversations and insights. Appreciate that. And he says, I think in general, The Dark Tower is the greatest story ever told due to its genre bending and character studies. He says, I'm on my second cycle and enjoying it more in general this time around. Honestly, is there anyone that doesn't enjoy The
when
Dark
you go
Tower
back around the second time, it's like, oh, that detail, that detail, that detail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we all love it more. The more you go through it. Then he actually has the intro question. So first question, how did you come about reading the Dark Tower series? He said, some friends who know my tastes all suggested the series. People who knew my taste well all suggested the series. So that's good. It's always good to hear the other side of those.
Yeah.
All of us have, been the evangelists for Dark Tower at one point or another, most likely. But some of us some people just never pick the books up or they don't like them or something. So it's always good to hear those that are introduced to it and actually take to it.
Yay.
Next up, had you ever read any other King books before these? If so, which ones? He says no.
Oh, first time King was the Dark Tower. I love it.
Next up, what King have you read since finishing the Journey to the Tower? He says, I've still never finished a King book outside of the Dark Tower series.
Oh.
So 100% Dark Tower. That's
all right.
That's awesome. I don't think this is the first person that's been like this, but it's definitely rare, though.
It is one of the rares, yeah.
Yeah. Next, did you have to wait for the books to be published over the years, or did you come to the series post-2004? He says, I read the series for the first time in 2016. So no waiting involved there.
You didn't even have to wait for Wind Through the Keyhole.
Next up, which of the books is your favorite and why? He says, I love Wolves of the Kala. Of course, Peter having a little victory lap there. He says, I always prefer a mid-world setting to the setting on Earth. However, Callahan's story on Earth is great, and it makes me want to read Salem's Lot. The setting for the Kala is wonderful. The pop culture references that slowly emerge give me a lot of feelings. And I will say, I give everyone the warning. It's not. I hope it's not too much of a spoiler. Just be mindful that when you dive into Salem's Lot, Callahan has a very, very small part. Small role. I remember reading it, and I was just like, wait, that's it? Because you just get so much more in his telling in Wolves of the Kala that you just, I don't know, you expect him to be a bigger part of that book, and you
expect him to be the main character.
He's barely above a cameo in that book. Like
Josh says Dark Tower was his first King as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. It's just diving into the deep end. Nothing wrong with that.
See, you knew not to do that to me.
Yeah.
You knew that I had to.
It's like that John Wayne clip.
Yeah.
Where the kid's like, I don't know how to swim. Like, how old are you?
What?
6. And he
chucks him into the river. I love the. Have you ever seen the extended of that clip?
No.
The woman comes running up.
Oh,
and goes,
I've seen the end of the scene.
I can't swim either. And he looks at her. It's like,
I'm guessing you knew that before the internet, like your dad. Yeah.
My dad loved John Wayne. So
yeah.
I can't swim. How old are you? 6.
Throws him in
like a sack of potatoes.
Next question: who's your favorite main character of the series? We define main character as quartet or main opposition. Roland, Jake, Eddie, Susanna, Oi, Callahan, Flag.
You need to reword that question.
Why?
The quartet or the villains against them.
No, none of that, sir. And he says Roland is my favorite character, maybe my favorite character in general, next to Batman. He's complex, mysterious, and generally kind of flawed, or generally kind but flawed.
Yeah.
No, that's a great synopsis of him there.
Yeah.
And as I read through that, there, complex, mysterious, generally kind but flawed. Pedro Pascal just seems like he could fit that.
No.
Really?
I don't know if he's flawed though. He's perfect in like everything. So
No, his characters are flawed.
no,
though.
but he is perfect.
Like
so.
not wearing a helmet. Letting a stormtrooper punch Baby Yoda.
Oh, he didn't let that. Oh, blasphemy!
So next up, who's your favorite mid-tier?
Not wearing a helmet, removing a helmet.
Yeah, removing helmet. Who's your favorite mid-tier character? Define mid-tier as not of the main 7, but not background characters. These probably show up more often or are very important to the book that they are in. Examples: Cuthbert Court, Stephen Deshane, Rhea, Crimson King, Stephen King, Calvin Tower, on and on. And he says Tim Ross's story and The Wind Through the Keyhole is great. And that's a good pick. Dude, I'm really jonesing for doing that.
Just don't listen to it.
No, I know. No, I mean, and also like breaking it down.
Yeah.
In terms of, I know that's a ways away now.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot in that we both didn't catch.
Yeah.
Because we don't revisit it because the audiobook is king.
Yeah, it's Reed for me because and not that King's bad. I like him in some other stuff, but I just think that the rest of the Dark Tower has literally the best narrators in the history of audiobooks. So it's
Whoa. Whoa.
What?
Don't slander Will Patton like that.
Oh, I will, sir.
Steven Weber.
I will.
No, I'm with you. George and Frank are.
Yeah,
they're the best.
They're the bee's knees.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, no, I can't. So I can't wait to dive into that. You know what? Maybe we should take a note of this.
No.
We talked about doing a 10,000-foot look at Wind Through the Keyhole. Not necessarily book club, but like a round table where we just broke down, like, read it, take some notes, talk about it in just a round table setting. Because it's going to be, because we've decided we're going chronological.
Oh,
so
you're talking an Unfound Door. We've done Unfound Doors before. We did it for Salem's Lot.
but it wouldn't. Yeah, but it wouldn't be for a Dark Tower book though. We talked about doing it for Wind Through the Keyhole, and I just because
found door.
Yeah, just
instead of an unfound door, it's a found door.
It would just be cool to dive into it, and we even just doing that for some of the other books because the book clubs are going to take us a while. So it might be good rather than that inch by inch ground level, but just take the airplane over the top of the book and cover it in a couple hours and talk. I don't know. I just think it'd be fun. And I think if we do that, we need to start with Wind Through the Keyhole.
I think if we don't hear any Flanagan news by the end of the year, we'll pencil that in, and we'll definitely do that next year.
I think we should do it this year.
You think this year?
Yeah.
With everything going on, you think we're going to have time to just throw an episode out, a whole episode out the window and only do Wind Through the Keyhole?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, if we do that 10,000-foot view of it and everything like that, it is going to be the entire episode.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Intro into it,
right into
closing arguments out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, and then Josh says, "Did y'all like the Needful Things audiobook?" I did. I actually just listened to that one not too long ago, and that was king. Totally fine. It's only the Dark Tower for me, and I think it's because George and Frank do so fucking well.
They set a standard
that it's just because I've done a lot of short stories over the last year and a half as well, and King reads a lot of short stories, and totally fine every other one, but just and maybe I need to retry Wind Through the Keyhole, but. Yeah, it was rough, man.
Maybe you need to listen to it by itself instead of with the Dark Tower.
In the context of it, yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way I've ever listened to Wind Through the Keyhole is with the Dark Tower series.
Yeah.
But if I listen to it as a standalone, maybe that'll be better.
Yeah, the music didn't bother me. The music
it was not as bad as Insomnia.
No.
It can't be as bad as Insomnia.
Literally, there's no way to be as bad as Insomnia. Let's be honest. Like, Insomnia is terrible. Like, it literally drowns out the text you can't hear, because the music.
Is it narrator? Is that what they call it?
Or reader, narrator.
Reader for the audiobook. I don't know if it's narrator or reader. But yeah, you can't hear them. It's like, and then he went to...
yeah.
Even all these years later, I've listened to it once, and it still gets my blood boiling.
Oh, me too, dude. And go read the reviews on that one. It's hilarious.
Josh, yeah, exactly how you're saying. The music was jarring for you. It's exactly how I feel about Insomnia. Needful Things did rub me a little bit wrong, but since I had Insomnia to set a high bar for it, it wasn't as bad for me.
Sorry, I just realized our cameras are all tiny.
Oh, big cameras.
Big
cameras.
Well, I'm trying to institute the new thing, so I have the new. I'm doing the thing where it shows two things, and you have like the pre and like it's like what's on the batter's box, ready to transition. I used to not have that, so usually I'm used to just clicking something, and that's what now is on the screen.
Oh, gotcha.
It doesn't do that anymore. So next, who's your favorite low tier character in the series? These are characters who are not even important to the books that they are in. They are standalone appearances. Things like Allie, Sylvia Pittston, which is one of Peter's favorites. Nort, Sheb, Aunt Talitha, Hax, Barlow, Moses Carver, Zoltan. Number of ones there. Irene Tassenbaum, on and on. And he says Dandalo's scene is incredible, and it's a scene that I'm mostly looking forward to seeing in live action someday. Heil Mike Flanagan.
There you go.
Dude,
There you
Dandalo, and I love Dandalo too.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite moments of the series, and I can't wait.
It's
because,
good.
dude, if that is filmed right, it is going to be creepy as fuck.
It
is. And it won't be overt. You'll just be like, something's not right here.
It'll be one of those ones where it's not like boo scare you, but everyone's gonna be doing this in the theater or at home. They're gonna be pulling the blanket up and just being like, oh
yeah, there's just, and you don't know why. It should be ill-defined. And then as the scene progresses, it gets more and more obvious where it's like, this isn't right. Something's wrong. Get the fuck out of there.
Something ain't right.
Next up, did you stall out on the series when reading it the first time? He says, it took me a while to get through Song of Susanna. The quartet is just leaving my favorite setting of the series and is mostly taking place on Earth, which I was not excited about because he mentioned earlier he loves the midworld stuff.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense because most of Song of Susanna is on Earth.
Yeah,
so
his logic checks out.
Have you reread the series? If so, how many times? He already mentioned earlier. He says, I started my second cycle about a month ago, and I'm nearing the halfway point of the Wastelands now. So,
Hey.
yeah, not too far from our book club's at. We're toward the end of that one, though.
Yeah.
Only a couple left. Next, most emotional the series made you while reading it. Could be sadness, excitement, joy, or anything in between. He says, for some reason that I think may be totally stupid, the reveal that the wolves were dressed as Dr. Doom floored me and made me seriously love Stephen King. I'm just a huge fan of cross-referential material in general, and I love seeing characters from outside properties finding their way into unrelated stories. Totally relate to you, Terry. That was actually a big thing for me too. As a kid growing up as a nerd for Marvel, the fact that it was Dr. Doom like that, it was a huge thing for me. I loved that. So totally feel you on that. And no, I don't think
Terry,
it's
if you haven't
stupid.
ever read or watched Ready Player One, just check it out.
Next, what did you think of the movie? Do not be ashamed to give your honest opinion. We have people on all sides, and all are welcome. He says the fact that they gave up on properly telling the story and did an old-fashioned one-movie adaptation turned me off. I still haven't seen the movie, though I plan to once it's available to stream for free. So, yeah.
Oh, is it really not available for free?
I didn't know. Yeah, I thought it might be, but I don't know. Next, do you have any cool stories about reading the series? He says, not yet, though I'm looking for one. And then next, if you're recommending the series to someone who didn't have the first clue about the series, how would you explain the series as briefly as possible? An elevator pitch, some might call it. And he says, a great melding of science fiction and fantasy set in a world where the world as we knew it ended 1,000 years ago, and all that's left are stories.
Oh.
That's good.
All that's left her story. Oh, dude, I love that.
That's really good.
I looked it up. Yeah, it's available on Hulu, but with a premium subscription, which usually is like Stars or some add-on
so
like
it's
that.
not actually.
So it's not on streaming.
Yeah, it's not on streaming. Then he signs off, Long Days and Pleasant Nights, signed Terry, and may you have twice the number. Thank you for emailing in. We always love the new.
I love the new listener
questions. Indeed.
They're great.
Indeed. Let's go on over. We'll do one more here. We have a short one from Chris from Chicago.
Got about 10 minutes.
It says, Heil Gunslingers.
Heil.
He says, I know this is a bit of an obscure question, but I love when actors play against type. Steve Carell,
yes.
Steve Carell in Foxcatcher, Albert Brooks in Drive, Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love, Michael Keaton as Batman. You get the idea.
Yeah.
He says, I haven't given enough thought yet, so I don't have any ideas, but I wanted to get an email in before I forgot. Do you guys have any actors who you think would be good in Dark Tower roles playing against type? And then he signs off, Long Days and Pleasant Nights. Chris from Chicago, again, may you have twice the number. So, against type roles.
So, first thing I think of is that we need to get a comedian actor into the Dark Tower. I think Bill Hader has already been mentioned this episode to play Roland, which we talked about. One that instantly pops into my mind is that Jim Carrey wouldn't make a bad Father Callahan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think he's a good enough actor. He has done some serious roles, so we can see already that he's kind of done stuff like that. But I think he Who's your boy from Breaking Bad?
Bryan Cranston?
No, the other one, the bad guy.
Oh,
We literally talked about this yesterday.
Yeah. Giancarlo Esposito.
He wants to play a good guy.
Yeah, he wants to play a good guy. Allegedly in Marvel, he's said he wants to play a non-villain.
Yeah.
So yeah, who would you put him?
Where
as?
would you put him as? What's his name in Breaking Bad again?
Gus Fring.
Gus Fring, the
Yeah.
chicken guy.
Yeah, the chicken
Yeah,
man.
just in case if anyone doesn't remember actors' names.
God, I'm trying to think of him as a good guy too.
He wouldn't be a bad farmer in the Kala.
Yeah, you could put him in the call. I feel it's funny we always land there because I feel like there's so many more characters in there than
There
almost
is.
everywhere else in this series.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Put him in Lud?
Yeah,
We're talking good guys here.
yeah.
He'd make a pretty good Steven.
Everything just yeah. I guess
Idris Elba's the son,
No,
he's the dad, kind of thing.
everyone I come up with is like bad. I'm like Balazar, he'd be great. But like,
Stop it, Ted. You're typecasting.
I know it's like, but he does so good at being a villain. He is brilliant. Like the way he plays Gus. Yeah, there's not, and the problem is there's not a lot of good characters in the Dark Tower.
Oh,
A lot of characters are antagonists.
Moses. He's not old enough. I mean, you
Yes.
could do like the aging stuff with him and everything like that.
Yeah.
Or he could be Susanna's dad in flashbacks and stuff like that if you want to tell that story. I
Yeah.
don't think you're going to, so I don't think you see Susanna's dad.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. Again, I'm trying to think against type 2 in general.
Would you ever consider him for Roland?
Is he too old for Roland?
Clint Eastwood was considered when we started the show. I mean,
it was an outside consider. But,
was it? I mean, I remember our first Dreamcasting, and we had fans who were sending in.
know
There
what?
was a majority.
Take a note of this. I want to think on this longer. I think on the fly here. but
Really?
Let's go next episode when we do the Dreamcast section, and we'll do just about type because that gives us time to think it through and think what other actors. Because I think my problem is just being put on the spot and trying to think of like an actor that's against type. And then find
Against
a role for
type.
them. Yeah, that's the thing where it's like
Oh, so you want to do not just Giancarlo
Esposito.
Esposito,
Yeah,
but also
just no.
against type.
Yeah, Chris's question here. Want to go and do the whole question of against type, but we'll come back to this. Anyone in the chat have any that that you could think of? Actually, Giancarlo,
Yeah.
Father Callahan.
He wouldn't be a bad Father Callahan. He'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
that's probably my pick for him at least.
'Kay.
And that does answer Chris's question. But I want to have a little bit of a longer
Chris,
conversation.
we're going to
next
think about
episode.
this, and we're going to come up with a couple. Hey, top 5?
I think what we'll probably end up doing
Top 5?
What I'll probably end up doing honestly is going and figuring out what are some good like hero roles, and then look for some villainous actors, and then go what are some villainous roles and what are some good actors.
What about so you're saying top 5 next episode? Want to do a top 5?
Oh, I just thought of one.
No, save it.
No,
we're talking about doing it next episode. Don't tease next episode and then spoil it.
No,
Save
I
it.
just wanted to throw out for him now because he asked the question. The one I just thought of, Captain America,
Chris Evans?
Chris Evans, make him Andrew Quick.
Oh damn! I mean, he's played a villain a couple times.
He has,
now.
but like
no, he played one in the Netflix one with Ryan Gosling.
No,
He
I know,
plays
but
the bad guy there.
but he's generally you think of him as a good, or
Gemini
you
Man?
or you could even go Chris Hemsworth and go him as Andrew Quick.
Yeah.
that actually even fits more. And he's only played a villain once that I know of in the Bad Times at the El Royale.
Oh, Mark nailed it. The guy in Maine that Eddie and Roland need help from.
John Cullum.
John Cullum.
Oh, that's a
Dude,
good one.
that's a hell of a good one for
Yeah.
Giancarlo. Yeah.
I couldn't picture him in flannel, but
Yeah.
that would be a
No, that's exactly it. You're trying to go against that typecasting.
No, I know.
With, like suit
Yeah.
and like the we are not the same,
Yeah.
meme and everything.
because
like
he's
that.
like in a suit in The Boys.
Mhm.
In Breaking Bad, he's always generally well dressed.
Yeah.
In Star Wars, he's got like a crisp Imperial uniform.
I saw an interview with him. I know we're right at time, but I saw an interview with him where he's like getting talked into doing the Mandalorian. And he's like, as long as I have a cape.
Yeah, he told him
I want a cape.
they had to put him in a cape. Yeah, no, but we'll come back and
Yeah.
because I think we'll both come up with more in the next like month.
A few more, but we're not going to do a top 5.
No, I think we just have a handful of like what did you come up with? Because I think that's one to think on deeply. Because you know what's going to happen? I know it. It's like a week from now. I'll be at work just doing something, and then something will hit me, and I'll be like, dude, that's
Or you'll stumble across someone in an episode or a movie
Yeah,
or a news article or something. We'll
Exactly.
come across it. It'll be like, Al Pacino said this about so-and-so. And
Yeah.
you're like, damn, Seth Rogen would make a pretty good this guy.
Yeah. Indeed. But no, that is it. We hit our one email. We still have at least one or two more emails we can cover in the future. But send your emails in. The mailbag is not necessarily empty, but it is a little light. So if you want to send some emails in, it's a good time for it. So let's go ahead and hit the outro stuff real quick. If you want to subscribe to us, you can do that on any podcasting service of your choice. You can stream us on Spotify or Stitcher. You can join us for our live streams here at youtube.com/darktowerpalaver. If you want to jab Peter with some emojis.
Or send Pat a dad joke.
You be quiet, sir.
Now you know how it feels.
I wonder if I could delete messages here. People put dad jokes in, I can go in and delete them.
I can report or block, but I'm not the person running this thing.
Exactly, which gives me more power. But if you want to do that, you can do that over here at youtube.com/darktowerpalaver. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and you will be made aware of when we're going live. Every once in a while, we have to change our recording schedule a little bit because life happens. That is a great thing to do. We'll try to keep social media updated, but YouTube we will always keep updated for sure because we have to for the live streams. Next up, if you want to find the show notes, you can do that at darktowerpalaver.com, as well as if you want to support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/darktowerpalaver. And if you want to contact us, Peter can let you know the ways to do that with a couple emails.
Yeah. So we have our old email, which is darktowerpalaver@gmail.com. We're still going to keep that up and running for now, but we are transitioning to a new email, which is show, SHOW, just like the show, at darktowerpalaver.com. And then our social media is at darktowerpod for the Twitter. That's at darktowerpod. Our Facebook is facebook.com/darktowerpalaver. And then our Instagram is Dark Tower Palaver, all one word, no spaces. And then check out our merchandise. It's on tpublic.com/users/darktowerpalaver.
Oi.
Good boy.
Boy is a menace, and he must be stopped. But yeah, we will be back in a fortnight for a book club. We are getting right down to the nitty-gritty. Like we said, Jake has been rescued, but Roland and Jake are now chasing a phantasm-type orb that Blaine is telling them to follow. All hell is breaking loose in the city.
It's going boom.
Yeah, everything's going very, very, very wrong. That's where we're at. We'll be back in a fortnight to cover that, and we'll be back in 1 month from today, where we will be. We will follow up on where we're at in the March Madness bracket.
Yep.
We'll have some against type casting, and then hopefully some news. Come on, Mike Flanagan. Come on, Flanagan.
It's been 2 months.
Yeah, come on.
Carol says, where can I find the next show in 15 minutes? Lots of work to do, and you are good company. So.
Yeah, I should have grabbed the link before, and my problem is I can't change the account on YouTube over while I'm in the middle of a stream on this channel.
Yep.
I know for sure. Let's see, Carol was she having issues with Discord? Is that what I noticed earlier?
She's having issues getting into our Hangouts, is what she was. So I'm going to work with her on that.
I'll throw it in the Discord, and then everyone else. But I guess ultimately, if you want to try to find over at we're on Twitter at Geekery Abides, and I will post the link to the show there, as well as Facebook. We're on there at Geekery Abides, but I'll throw it in the Discord Hangout as well for the Patreon folks as well. And then in the future, I'll make sure to actually have the link. That was an oversight on my part. Apologies about that. But yes, we'll be back in a quarter of an hour. You never say that. Yeah. We'll be back in a quarter of an hour on that other show, Geekery Abides. Find us over there. You can also search. I don't know if we're pulling up on YouTube yet.
It's not. That's
because we don't have any content there yet. So, but yeah, I will
check the social media. We'll post it the link on there for you for the first episode, and then we'll have our YouTube channel going after we get the first show posted.
Yep. So sorry I didn't have the link, but we will see you guys and sign off as we always do by saying long days and pleasant nights.
Long days and pleasant nights, everyone.
All right, that is it for the podcast. Thank you guys all for joining us.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't have the link to the other show, but yeah, we will. We appreciate you guys. I love having you guys as part of the conversation. Love all the memes. Dad jokes, unfortunately, are now a thing on the show. That's that's an unfortunate turn of events.
Why did the hipster fall in the lake? He went skating before.
Remember,
it was cool.
I can throw punch you. So maybe that'll be a Patreon thing. Like, if you want to see Peter get throat punched, come to this hangout and I'll throat punch him. All right, we'll see you guys on the next show if you're joining us over there. If not, we'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.